Thankful. A Secret Baby Romance. Billionaire Boss Series Book 1. By Michelle Love. Blurb.
James is the cure for my lonely nights. I need his touch and my body craves him. I ended my relationship with my ex when he got violent with me. Thankfully, James defended me and we got away. That night, he gave me a taste of everything I was missing between the sheets, but James had a secret of his own. All the money he earned didn't come from his usual occupation. I could deal with the fact that he's a professional jewel thief, but his crew scares me. They are capable of anything and don't approve of our relationship. They think I make him weak and soft. So when they learn that I'm pregnant, they decide it's time to get rid of my baby and me.
Chapter 1. Karen.
Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're having a great day. Please excuse me while I wash down some painkillers with my wine. I'm so exhausted from cooking. I made a turkey with trimmings, green bean and mushroom casserole, salad, pumpkin pie and apple pizza, my creations and at my expense. I cooked and cleaned the entire day and cooked some more, all in the kitchen of my tiny apartment. The trash is out, my studio is spotless. 5 guests pack my second-hand dining table, as I finally settle down to eat as well. Thank God it's done, I reflect with a sigh, my feet aching as much as my head after all the effort. I smile at my companions. This is the last dish, my friends. Thanks for waiting. At least I have a sense of accomplishment to ease my exhaustion and frustration. My place looks great. Mostly because I spent time scrubbing it and picking up empty beer cans and dirty plates. With its impressionist prints and soft lavender walls, it looks good enough for entertaining, even if petite. I'm determined to enjoy it as much as I can, but that might be difficult. My boyfriend Terry is drunk at the dinner table, for the 5th holiday in a row. He's been here all day, taking up my couch and making more clutter for me to clean up. His only contribution to Thanksgiving dinner has been 3 6-packs of watery lager, 2 of which he's already sucked down by himself. His only interaction with me today, longer than "get me a sandwich," was his complaint when I was too busy to have a quickie before the guests arrive. His floppy, unkempt, reddish curls hide his sullen little black eyes as he hunches over his plate. He's been quiet and resentful since I pointed out that taking some of the workloads would give me time to help, as he calls it, before the guests showed up. You gonna help or what? That's the mating call of Terry Branham. The logic escaped him, or he was too lazy. Apparently, even intimacy isn't worth stuffing a turkey or washing dishes to old Terry. No wonder he still lives with his mother. As I watch him shoveling food into his mouth while occasionally giving me a morose glance, I feel myself quietly, finally, reach the end of my patience. I'm not even sad about it. It's more a sense of resignation, even relief. You know what? It's been 18 months of negotiating, reasoning, warning, imposing consequences, and getting nowhere with this immature, jobless, whiny drunk. I'm not a martyr. I'm done. Tonight after the guests go home, I'll tell him. It's better to spend Christmas alone than let him mess up another holiday. I will probably spend it alone, or nearly. Most of the guests are his family members since I'm not in contact with mine, except for my sister who sits next to me insistently loading my plate. She barely came into town, or I would have had my backup for cooking earlier. Samantha is everything I've never managed to be. She's a successful painter with her own gallery in San Francisco. She has a family waiting back there for her, and she's confident and beautiful. Elegant, stylish and tall, she looks like a model in her dark trim suit, her blonde hair straightened and dyed platinum to bring out our family's blue-green eyes. Meanwhile, here I am, barely managing to tame my tawny curls into a messy updo, dressed in second-hand green velvet that I altered myself. Great spread, sis, Samantha says with a rakish smile. Now get some food in your stomach. You must be wiped after working all day with no help. I agree, this is quite delicious, another voice comments from the other end of the table. It's smooth and cultured, with just that touch of the Carolinas to always make my toes curl. The same goes for the man speaking them. My compliments, continues Terry's cousin with a slow smile, his chocolate-colored eyes twinkling. And suddenly, half of my exhaustion is forgotten. Time stops for a moment, and I catch my breath as his warm, gentle gaze holds mine hypnotically. His name is James Beaumont, and he's such an amazing dish. I can't believe he shares any genes with Terry. And I've never wanted to be with anyone more. I met him last Thanksgiving at Terry's mother's ramshackle bungalow, while we were choking down dry turkey and some mess of orange goop and marshmallows she called sweet potatoes. She spent the whole meal whining about how tough it was to achieve by herself, with her son and husband sourly devouring the results. Already somewhat nauseated by the bad food and sympathetic to anyone who dealt with two Terrys, I offered to cook next year. After supper, the incredibly attractive guy with razor-cut auburn hair and amazing eyes slipped up to me, not one drop of gravy on his bespoke charcoal suit. He stood out among his relatives like a gold watch gleaming in a weedy yard. One look in his eyes, and I forgot Terry was 4 feet away. He introduced himself as James, Terry's cousin, and quietly thanked me for taking the duty next year. I invited him along with the others, of course, and was happier than I should have been when he agreed. I spent half the night talking to him, and had sizzling dreams about him every night for over a week afterward. "Thanks," I say shyly, and his lips quirked. "Yeah, thanks for making good on your promise. It's not like I can get that from either of these two." Terry's mother, Caroline, is heavy-set and tiredly pretty, with the same russet curls as her son. His father is an older version of him, aside from his hair being straight, thin, and gray blonde. The son glares. The father just keeps shoving food into his mouth as if he's at a 4-star buffet. I'm not sure if he's hard of hearing or just doesn't care. Maybe he's just this desperate for real food. "Don't you be a coward too, Mom?" "I'm already getting that from my so-called girlfriend," Terry growls angrily, glaring daggers at me. "Oh man. Now what? Is he drunk enough to bring up our relationship in front of his mother? If he does, I'm not showing him any mercy." "What did she do? Ask you to wash a dish?" Then, his mother and Terry are off bickering at each other while I try to focus on eating. Samantha scoffs. "Why, I married a chick in a nutshell," she mutters in my ear. I give her a tight, rueful smile. Samantha is bi, and doesn't seem to fully grasp sometimes what it's like to only want men. She also likes to forget that women can be awful too, since she married a good one. Yeah, I sigh back a moment before draining my wine glasses. I reach for the bottle to get a refill, as Terry's mom rips into him about his hygiene. "I'm done." She looks relieved. Good. And just like that, she's on to something more pleasant, trying to distract me. "So, how's the latest decorating project?" I stop at half a glass and set the bottle down. "I made rent and bills with it." "Barely. How I wish that I was rich." That makes me glance over at James again, sitting there exuding class and money, like he doesn't belong with the rest of his kin. He's calmly trying to diffuse the argument, though he comes down solidly on Mom's side. "Thanks, James. At least someone in that family prefers reason to arguing." I wonder how awkward these gatherings are for him, having to deal with people acting so beneath him. He always seems so calm and poised, like nothing rattles him. I wish I knew his secret. Small potatoes again, huh? What was it this time? Another baby room? Samantha shakes her head and lays a hand on my shoulder. "A preschool. She just didn't have much money. I'm young and hungry for work, and Annabelle was a good client. You gotta stop selling yourself short, honey. You're never gonna get out of student loan debt taking small jobs." She looks over at Terry in annoyance. "Hey. It's Thanksgiving. Quit whining at your poor mom." I tense up at once. One of my million problems with Terry is his temper. But then I think, what the hell does it matter? I'm breaking up with him anyway. He immediately glares at Samantha. "Mind your own business." "I'd love to, but you're too damn loud for anyone to avoid your business." She gives him an overly sweet grin, and he turns a few shades redder. "I don't have to put up with," he starts, and his mother slaps her hand against the tabletop hard enough to shake it. "Terry, you don't get to mooch your whole life and then complain when people point it out. Now shut up and let's eat." I'm glad for the backup, but it's too late. Terry has had too much beer, and the fury in him wants to make a mess of things. You started it, he snaps. And now I'm angry. Dear God, Samantha sighs. Nobody cares, Terry. Oh, shut up, you man-hating tramp. Terry splutters, and it humiliates me. So much that I go from I'm breaking up with him, all the way to what the hell did I ever see in this bozo? There are a million reasons, but what it boils down to is the same damn thing Samantha was poking at me about. I settle for too little. And I don't care enough about how it hurts me, until it affects someone close to me. But now it has, and I was pissed to begin with. You watch your damn mouth when you're talking to my sister, I hiss, and Terry freezes. I've never been anything but kind and firm with this man baby, probably kinder than I should have been. But you don't insult the one person in my family that still talks to me. Babe, what's gotten into you? He asks in a deeply worried voice as I stand up. You, I reply as everyone goes quiet. I can feel the room hold its breath. Samantha looks like she's gleefully anticipating a total bloodletting of this jerk's ego, and I know why. There are consequences once I'm past my limit. Terry just rocketed past it and kept going. You've gotten into me, Terry. I told you what would happen if you messed up another holiday with me. I stare at him coldly while all the color drains from his weak-chinned face. Wait, come on. I helped. I brought beer. He's blinking at me in blank horror as if a pod person has replaced his sweet, patient girlfriend. The sweet, patient girlfriend had already warned him that she was running out of patience with him. Let us eat our food in peace, I growl, still staring unblinkingly into his eyes as he wilts faintly. Next to me, Samantha chokes on her wine. He stares back at me nervously, then grabs his fork and stuffs a bite of food in his mouth. He's already muttering rebelliously under his breath, but that's a lot easier to ignore. For now, anyway. So, you're an interior decorator? James asks, catching my eye again. I feel warmth run through me and nod silently. I might have a job or two for you that would be higher end. I'll be happy to discuss it with you after supper. The good juicy turkey I've roasted turns to sand in my mouth. I swallow with a great effort and nod, and the corners of his eyes crinkle with amusement. Good. Don't let me forget now, he says with an almost gleeful tone. Out of the corner of my eye I can see Terry watching us. James notices it as well, and looks even more amused. I catch my breath, feeling like I'm on the brink of something. It should scare me, but instead, I find myself excited. What is this man offering me besides a job? I've never really wanted a normal life. I've always wanted to be part of something extraordinary. Some kind of adventure. Maybe even a wild affair. But instead I've ended up settling for what I can get, time and again. Low-paying jobs, guys like Terry. One look at James and I suddenly want to take crazy risks, visit exotic places, and drink wine costing my entire paycheck for a single glass. Sitting across the table, Terry stares at us with increasing intensity. He misses everything, including my growing unhappiness with him. Unexpectedly, I'm talking to another man about a totally neutral subject, and he's laser-focused on it. Another charming habit of Terry's, he does very little to keep me, yet he's still horribly jealous. It's another way he exhausts my patience and I have none left. Samantha pokes me gently in encouragement, and I finally smile. I'd love to trade up to a better man. Are you single? Paying class of clientele. His smile vaguely broadens. Lovely. Oh, for heaven's sake. Terry explodes, jumping from his seat and leaning aggressively over me. Are you gonna hit on my cousin, right in front of me? What the hell are you talking about? His mother snaps incredulously. She didn't do a thing. They were talking business. What, are you jealous of James now? Who the hell wouldn't be, the rich jerk? Bad enough you drag him around to every family gathering, like he's your son instead of your sister's. My eyes widen as I look between them. James is wincing and covering half his face. Samantha is chomping away at her food like it's a bucket of popcorn, and she's getting good seats at a midnight movie showing. Terry's dad is going for thirds. I warned you twice, Terry, I say in a low, hard voice. This is it. In my life, I have never been more elated than deciding not to give boyfriends my apartment key after the first break-in. Warned me? Warned me what, tramp? You were so busy with all this stupid cooking that you wouldn't even get me off today. He's on a full-blown rant, blissfully unaware that he's sawing the floor out from under himself. I stare at him as he splutters on, agitated. You frigid tramp, you know it wouldn't have even taken you 2 minutes. Silence descends upon the table with a grave heaviness. Terry's father drops his fork onto the table with a clatter. His mother stares at her son wide-eyed, lips trembling. James has a coughing fit, his handsome face flushes, tears gathering at the corners of his eyes. Terry's mug slowly goes from purple to white as it dawns on him what he just said in front of God, his parents and the rest of us. In that same moment as the instant regret takes over, Samantha loses it completely and nearly falls out of her chair laughing. I observe Terry, considering the way he's left his well-deserving ass wide open, and say in a cold voice, "You said it." I didn't. But after tonight, it's not my dilemma anymore. What the hell are you saying? He demands. His whiny, defensive baby needs a nap tone sets my teeth on edge. James sighs heavily. Cousin, if you want a prayer of saving your relationship or any degree of face, you should quit now. Terry's head snaps around, his dull black eyes turning to slits. For one precious moment, it seems like he's going to restrain himself. Instead, he opts to really wreck things. He grabs the edge of the table and literally tries to flip it onto me while we're all seated and in the middle of Turkey Day dinner. Screw you, he yells, inflamed as he struggles to lift one end. Hey, knock it the hell off. I yell at him. His mother swears at him, and even his father joins as his overfilled plate spills over. Terry shakes his head like a stubborn kid, his face sweaty, eyes tightly shut and teeth clenched. He tries again, letting out a feeble grunt of effort. That's when I realize that someone else is holding the table down far more firmly than Terry can lift, James, with a frigidly annoyed look on his face. You're spilling my wine, he warns his cousin. That's it. I stand up and walk over to Terry. We're done. Get out of my apartment. That stops him cold. He blinks at me as if shocked his attempt to bulldoze a Thanksgiving dinner in the middle of a tantrum has consequences. But you're so charming. You can't just throw me out. Well, I sure as hell can, his mother growls, getting up and pulling his battered blue puffer jacket out of the closet and throwing it at him. You're embarrassing the crap out of me. Go wait in the damn car, or you won't have a home to come back to. Terry looks around at us, drunken puzzlement on his face, wondering why we're picking on him. Then he slowly takes the coat and turns to the door. Once he slumps out, she sighs and smiles at me apologetically. I'm sorry he's such a brat. Discipline has always been a problem for him. She cuts her gaze toward her husband, who is scooping food into his mouth once more. I take a deep breath and force a smile at her. Let's just finish this feast, I suggest softly. He's an adult, and accountable for his own actions. And the only damn reason I'm not calling you out for spoiling him silly, is I'm handing his ass back to you. No more free babysitting. That's punishment enough for you. At least with Terry brooding in the car like a banished kid, we can have our pie in peace. There's even some small talk, though it goes on around me, I struggle through my meal. My fatigue is tinged with sadness, not for ridding myself of Terry, but because it seems like I always have to choose between settling for guys like him or being alone. Although maybe not, I wistfully peek in James's direction. I'm surprised to see him looking at me with concern. When our eyes meet, I feel a thread of warmth and wonder for a moment if I'm the only one feeling it. After dinner, Terry's parents take half of both of the pies without asking, wish me a happy Thanksgiving, and make themselves scarce. James sticks around saying he'll take a cab, and helps Samantha and me clean up and pack the rest of the food. Okay, I have to admit, even if I didn't want to get away from everybody else over the holidays, I am definitely glad I came tonight. Samantha's normally perfect mascara is smeared at the corners from tears of laughter. You okay after all of that? Yeah, I'm just really tired. And disheartened. And embarrassed. But most of all, I'm bracing myself for the breakup talk that will happen tomorrow. Terry probably won't even remember he was kicked out tonight, let alone the fact I said I'm done. I need to spell it out for him, and whether it's another damn temper tantrum, screw it, I'll do it over the phone in case he starts breaking things again. Once the table is cleared and everything is stored away, Samantha sighs and gives me a smile. All right. Look, I've been on the road since 4 a.m. my time, and I need to get some sleep. Are we still on for movies tomorrow? I nod at her, and we hug goodbye. 3 o'clock. I'll pick you up at the hotel. Good. She looks between James and me, who is putting away the last of the dry dishes. Looks like you have someone you should be talking to, alone anyway. She winks and gives me another hug, then breezes out, leaving blushing me behind her.
Chapter 2. James.
I just watched Terry mess up what will probably be his one chance to end up with a girl who is too good for him. I have to admit, it was pretty damn funny. But it's given the lovely lady in question an obvious headache, and that's not amusing at all. Terry's been a burden on his mom for years, and he's always avoided growing up. He keeps searching for a nice girl who will take over mom's babysitting duties, so he can mooch and drink and play video games while she does all the work, and it keeps failing. Then he blames the women for having backbones, instead of him having none. It would be one thing if he was just a sad sack with no game. Unfortunately, he's also a jerk with a violent streak. And I'm wary of what he might do next. Growing up, I spent a lot of time with his family, and he's the exact same guy now that he was at 10. And that's part of the reason I'm sticking around. Because once it finally dawns on this jackass that he's been dumped again, he'll lose it at sweet, attractive Karen, and he will not be calm about it. When we were teenagers, I watched his dumbass fail with women dozens of times. After mom and dad died, I lived in his house so many times that I ended up his sorta brother, sorta babysitter. From 14 years old and on, he aggressively chased girls, got rejected, or had one give him a chance only to blow it, and got malicious afterward. Sometimes violently cruel. Once, I had to gather bail money for the little shit. The second time he got arrested, the family agreed to let him sit in jail for a few weeks. I don't trust Terry will not come back tonight once he drinks some more and works up some steam. He's done it twice before, and I won't let him try the same thing with this adorable curly-haired girl I'm sitting across the couch from. Are you absolutely certain that you're doing all right? I ask very gently. I've produced my flask of good brandy and a cig, and we're splitting them both. I draw on the cig and pass it over, lifting an eyebrow at her. Karen looks at me with those dazzling jewel-colored eyes and smiles thinly. I will. I kind of saw this coming. Thanks for the smoke, I might even be able to sleep. And she takes a tiny hit, like a nip. No problem. If sleeping is what you want to do, that is. Of course, there's another reason I've stuck around besides making sure there's no confrontation, and that is Karen herself. I've been attracted to her since the first time we met, in that primal, near-immediate way that has only hit me a few times with a woman. She has a sweet personality, a tight little body, and an ache that Terry just hasn't been satisfying, and I'm sure a lot of her needs he has not fulfilled. I want to fix it. Badly. If she's been dealing with Terry this whole time, she has to be desperately in need of a proper one-night stand. I can provide that. In fact, I'd be delighted to. She'll be delighted too, if she's not too exhausted by the whole mess this evening, of course. It seems to be dawning on her what I'm suggesting. Her cheeks turn endearingly pink. Did you have some other idea? For a moment, I smile broadly, and her blush deepens. Adorable. I imagine you're very unhappy with your soon-to-be ex-boyfriend, I purr at her. And I really like you. Always have. Her eyes widen a little, like she's waiting for me to say that I'm joking, testing her, or something other than genuinely wanting to sleep with her. Do you mean that you? I'll be blunt, I reply in a gentle tone. I want to spend a few hours making you forget about my stupid cousin, who doesn't deserve you. I have a nice hotel room 10 blocks away that we could go to. She draws a long, shuddering breath, and her eyes dilate. She wants it, she wants me. But then she surprises me. I shouldn't go sleeping with anyone else until I properly break up with Terry, she admits with a sigh. Otherwise, I'd be grabbing my purse to go with you right now. I'm suddenly hard as a rock. A delayed yes is still a yes, even if I have to wait until she deals with the last of my cousin's drama. I take another swallow of brandy and smile at her. Well, I'm not about to challenge you for being ethical. It's just another thing to like about you. My smile goes lazy. Rain check for tomorrow evening? She squeezes her knees together, and her lips part slightly with desire. She nods. Make it 9 tomorrow night. 9 it is. I'll bring dinner. I frown. I should tell her about Terry's violent responses to rejection. What is it? She asks, looking a little worried. Terry. He's... Don't scare her needlessly. Known for taking breakups well. He doesn't have your key, does he? Or know where the spare is? She swallows and then shakes her head. I never gave him one. I go over to the street-facing windows. Both are barred and locked. Good. Are you planning on going out tonight? Just to take the trash. She glances at the overflowing bin behind her. Try to leave it for the morning if you can. Take your phone along if you can't. She seems upset. How much trouble should I expect? If he shows up, chances are he'll be drunk and obnoxious. But tonight, don't go outside your door more than you need to, and don't leave it unlocked when you take out the trash. If he shows up, don't open the door. I give her a wry look. Call the number on that card I gave you, and I'll shove a boot up his ass. She giggles. You don't sound like you'd mind too much. I don't like how he treats you, plain and simple. You deserve better than what he can provide. I turn back and approach her again as she gets up, pinch out the cig and hand her the rest. I can deliver it. However, if you want to give that fool his marching orders first, well, as I said. I wink at her, and she smiles a touch wider. I should really get going. She fetches my good wool topcoat and helps me into it, a shy attempt at contact. So, 9 o'clock tomorrow then. I turn and deliberately sever the touch barrier, caressing her cheek with 2 fingers. See you then. Karen's apartment is on the 3rd floor of a 6-story brick walk-up with battered iron railings. My groin aches as I trot down the stairs, with a dozen ideas of what to do to divine Karen tomorrow, rolling through my head. I can't decide. We may have to try a few things before the night is over. Tomorrow night. Brilliant. It would be better if it happened tonight, but for a lovely lady like Karen, I don't mind waiting. I look up and down the darkened street before taking my phone out to summon a ride. Too many cars, too many bushes, too many dark alleyways. A thief or another criminal, or a furious drunken boyfriend, about to be ex-ed, could hide anywhere around here. I frown. I have this peculiar feeling. I should test it before I depart for the night. A man in my line of work lives by his instincts. I tell everyone who asks that I install security systems. Truth be told, I spend most of my nights at work deactivating them. Especially the fancy ones that guard wealthy people's gem collections. No one in my family knows I'm a professional thief. Families like ours, it's either incredible luck or crime to pull you out of poverty. I did not wait for luck, but I also have never been caught. Instincts are a big part of that. And right now I smell a problem brewing. Something causes me to pause from calling a cab. Instead, I follow my hunch and saunter around the block. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong very often. By the time I round the last corner, my suspicions are confirmed. I hear an argument at Karen's place. I pick up my pace, careful on the icy pavement, and soon enough, Terry's voice is cracking with outrage. You can't leave me. I won't let you. Let's work things out. I'm ready to try anything to make this right. This is so much more cringe-worthy than usual. I break into a run. He sounds threatening, and he isn't taking no for an answer. I hear Karen snap something back and he bellows, "Shut up, tramp," and then a struggle begins. "Let go of me," Karen screams. "Get out of the doorway. You can't come in. Go away." "Oh, I'm coming in," Terry pants as I take the stairs to the 3rd floor 2 at a time. "I'm coming in, and you're gonna make this up to me, or I'm gonna make you sorry." "Go to hell." I said we're done. A note of panic in Karen's voice fills me with rage. Help! Of course, none of her neighbors respond. A few lights go on, but nobody comes out. New Yorkers, in a nutshell, apathy is everywhere. I say when we're done, tramp? I'm the man. Terry yells, and then yelps to the sound of a hard slap. Well, you definitely are a piss-poor excuse for one, I remark in an icy voice once I'm directly behind him. Terry freezes. His furry hand is still wrapped around Karen's wrist, but he loosens his grip and she yanks it free. I don't give him time to turn around. Instead, I grab him by the hair and the back of his shirt and pry him off the doorway. He yelps again, whining in protest as I slam him against the railing to cow him before taking hold of him again. I'm not bailing you out any longer because you can't handle the consequences when you mess up with women, I hiss in his ear as Karen watches us. You can do one of two things. You can leave down the stairs, or you can be a nuisance and get pitched over the railing. You just want her for yourself, you damn poacher. I'm not gonna be your cuck. His voice is high with fear. I roll my eyes and pull his hair backward until he threatens to unbalance. You can't be a cuckold if you're no longer someone's boyfriend, you idiot. She's dumped you twice tonight. Denial doesn't change the damn facts. I step up in front of him and give him a shake, staring into his eyes. Now, are you going to leave, or are you going to land in the bushes and pick rose thorns out of your butt for the next 3 hours? He opens his mouth wide and closes it a few times, like a goldfish scooped up in a net. His anger has been replaced by raw panic. Don't toss me over. It's a 2-story drop. Then get out of here. I shift my grip and give him a shove toward the stairs. He almost tumbles down headfirst before grabbing the railing. He barrels down the stairs, sometimes jumping over some of them, sometimes almost falling flat on his face, his whimpered curses and terrified gasps echoing until he disappears down the street. How am I related to that piece of crap? I turn back to Karen. Hey, are you all right? She looks at me, her eyes red from crying, and shakes her head. Okay. What can I do for you? I ask very carefully. She throws herself into my arms.
Chapter 3. Karen.
I couldn't stay in my apartment after Terry's attack, not even if I got drunk. After I got a comforting hug and my tears under control, I asked James to take me to his hotel room. On the drive over, I wasn't thinking about intimacy. I had a pain in my arm, the strung-out feeling of an adrenaline hangover, and the memory of Terry ambushing me on the other side of the door when I took out the trash. I hugged myself as I sat with James in the back of an Uber driven by a friendly older man. Now, however, as the glowing golden tower of the hotel actually comes within view, I start to relax as the reality of the situation sinks in. Terry is gone, forcibly ejected from my life. He was the most repulsive creep before James made him stop. I'm finally free of him. My thighs draw together, thinking about what will happen next. After all, I told James they first wanted to break up with Terry before I spent the night with him. Right now, I am not sure I'm quite ready. Did he hurt you? James asks softly as our driver pulls into the parking lot. Just some bruises. He didn't hit me, but he grabbed my arm hard and pushed me back into the door. It's the most physical that a boyfriend has ever gotten with me, even the guy who broke into my apartment. Of course, I mistook that poor creep Alan, another sad sack with a violent side, for a prowler. It took me half a minute to grab a bat and clout him upside the head. When I realized he was my ex, abusing his copy of my key, I hit that jerk again. I'm not proud of that, but it kept him from hurting me. I just wish a weapon had been handy when Terry grabbed me. I'm sorry. I should have stayed with you. I'm glad I thought to double back. He seems genuinely troubled as our driver pulls up in front of the hotel. It's fine. I'm glad you came back. I stare out the window at the thin snow falling, then grab my overnight bag as the sedan halts to a stop. The chilly air bites at the back of my neck and knees as I step out. James offers his arm, my hand hurts a bit as I grab it. I'll key you in a tip. Thanks again, he tells the driver, who smiles and drives off. As we approach the lobby doors, I stand close to James to shield myself from the wind. Another winter is descending on New York. I'm so damn tired of all this cold. I wish I could go back to the West Coast, but I can't go back home. Don't think about that now. Terry's given you enough miserable crap to deal with, without going over years-old family drama. I take a deep breath and walk through the hotel doors with James instead. If you want, I'll have a look at your injuries when we get upstairs. You don't appear well right now. He is so authentic that it puts a lump in my throat. I can't remember the last time that a guy showed concern for me. Early on, Terry had his sweet moments, fumbling and cute, like a wilted flower handed to me by a small boy. Once he thought he didn't have to work for it anymore, even those scraps of affection dried up. And the two guys before, or my family. I let out a soft, sad snicker as we approached the elevators. No. I'm not okay. Thank you. I'll need to take photos in case I press charges. I've got you covered. I even know a good local lawyer if you need one. I seriously doubt he'll be back after this though. I don't drop his arm in the elevator. It feels like a railing I'm grabbing in a high wind, keeping me steady. Under the thick wool coat, he's as firm as carved wood, intriguing me enough that it distracts me a little. And his spicy cologne, which smells so exotic I wonder what country it's from. I don't want to resort to a lawyer. But I'll definitely file for a restraining order. He's quiet as the elevator rises toward the penthouse. This isn't your first time dealing with someone with a bad temper, is it? A part of me wants to bitterly laugh and tell him the truth. I've been dealing with bad-tempered abusive creeps since I was born. No. I just had some bad luck. Undeserved, for certain. You're a wonderful person. My aunt was hoping for a marriage, as you're better company than just myself at her holiday table. He shoots me an apologetic smile. Never happen. The disgust in my tone makes him laugh. It's incredibly liberating to talk to someone, besides Samantha, about Terry. The elevator stops, and a drunk-looking couple piles in, immediately leaning into the corner to kiss. The girl's sparkly black dress rides up her hip. 5 floors later they're gone again, leaving me flushed and dry-mouthed, my eyes a bit wide. James's smile is wicked now. They definitely have the right idea, he comments, and I stifle a nervous giggle. Finally, we reach the penthouse and he leads me to its broad white-columned expanse. We remove our snow-crusted shoes at the door, and my aching feet sink into soft gray wool carpet. I sigh with relief and stop for a moment to get my bearings. He comes up behind me to take my coat, and I gratefully shrug out of it. The air inside is warm without being stuffy, and scented with a wisp of incense. First, you need to relax, he murmurs in my ear. I catch my breath. Apparently, Terry has ruined our relationship, but not my physical desire. After years of being stuck with men whose behavior killed my desire, it is incredible to feel the yearning so strongly. It's James's doing. In the year between our 2 meetings, no other man has affected me like this. Only James. You're right, I sigh and let him lead me to a broad leather settee long enough to stretch out on. I sit on the edge and watch him shuck his coat, the pewter-colored suit jacket, his tie, and then, to my surprise, his shirt. I'm still in my velvet dress, watching a man I barely know but desperately want to strip in front of me. He casts his fancy clothes aside, as if they're a disguise he wants free of as soon as possible. Ah, he mutters in passing. What sadist invented ties? My eyes widen as he stretches up to remove the clinging silk undershirt beneath, watching the muscles ripple across his chest and belly. The tiniest hints of dark auburn hair peek out of his belt line just below his navel. My eyes lock on them hungrily for a moment. He strips off the wad of fabric and tosses it with the rest. Hope you don't mind. I'm done with suits for the evening. His eyes flicker, and then he heads for the bar. Would you like a hot toddy and a massage? Watching him walk away in his suit pants is pure torture. His tight, broad-shouldered back ripples with muscle, and a pair of deep crimson wings is tattooed across it, highlighting his shoulder blades and the elegant sweep of his lower back. My eyes trace down to his butt beneath the wool, and I wonder how far down the tattoos go. Oh my. I'm struggling for breath. Now that is a dirty pool. I don't mind, I manage. He's seducing me, slowly, gently enticing me with his body, the stylish surroundings and his unaccustomed kindness. It's not what I'm used to. Nevertheless, these little tastes of his attention, his flirtation, make me want more. I hope you don't mind me asking. How did you end up with Terry anyway? He comments, holding a brown ceramic mug of toddy. I take it and sip it, and the honey, whiskey and lemon mix are pleasing to my tongue. I get lonely. He was in my movie club. We had some hobbies in common. It sounds so tame now. I don't tell him the lamest part though. The part where every single guy I've ever dated has been a huge step up from the last, and even the worst of the three were better than my father, or my brothers. I'm critical of you. You're just too beautiful and charming to settle for the likes of him. He sits beside me on the chaise longue, and takes a sip of his own toddy. Glad you think so. I laugh nervously, too aware of how close he is to me. My fingers curl around the cup, as I squash the urge to trace his tattoos with them instead. Let's have a look at your arm, he says tenderly as he reaches out and crouches in front of me. I stare at him for a moment, then push the bell sleeve back, revealing the developing reddish marks. He winces, holding it gingerly, the finger marks are clear. Silently, I begin crying as he takes photos of the injury. It's too much like the past. His camera phone clicks, and for a moment, I'm 12 years old, in a room of a police station, shivering in my underwear as a camera chronicles the bruises all over me. The flashback goes away, and he's still tapping away at his phone. I'll send these to your email. In a low voice, I give him the address and he finishes up. I'll check your back next. Do you mind lying on your stomach? His voice remains gentle as he lays his phone aside. I nod and stretch out on the davenport and he straightens up. Where does it hurt? I point out the spot on the left, above the small of my back. In response, he unzips my dress down to my waist. I suck air and freeze, but he folds the fabric away and tugs it down on the side with the bruise. Oh yeah, that's going to leave a mark too. I'm so sorry. Do you want a pain pill? No, I had some before dinner. I was kind of, anticipating a headache. He chuckles and I chortle with him. Your muscles are so tight. You sure you don't need a bit of help loosening up? And with that, his warm hand settles against my back, and instinctively I feel like extending under him. I didn't know you give massages, I murmur, laying my forehead against the pillar of my arm. Oh yeah, this is how I made extra money at resorts in the summer. Both of his hands are on my back, tucking the top of my dress aside, smoothing over my bare shoulders. My eyes flutter closed and my heart starts beating faster. His hands move up and down my back, tenderly caressing at first, having me get used to his touch. The warm, soothing strokes expel my past, banish thoughts of Terry, and leave me shivering with pleasure. Do you like that? His breath tickles my ear as he whispers into it. Yes, I manage, scarcely loud enough to hear. May I bear more of your body then? I feel my whole midsection seize, thighs squeezed together with sudden hunger. I know what he's doing. I know where this is going. I want it more with every passing second. With growing desperation, I can only pray he's as good in bed as he is at seduction. Yes.
Chapter 4. Karen.
I hear the rasp of my dress zipper lowering further, and then cool air on my skin. I sit up just enough to slip my arms out of the sleeves and lie back down. His hands are on my skin again, and I forget everything but that. I only realize how rigid my muscles are when he starts to knead them. His powerful hands soothingly rubbing me over until I relax enough for him to knead deeply. My back pops several times and I gasp, going almost limp. I'm entirely in his control now. And I love it. The most I've ever felt with a guy has been frustrated arousal and a wistful sort of comfort. This is already different. He's only touched my bare back so far, and I'm already swooning. Even Samantha seems to think I need to get rid of Terry as soon as humanly possible. I don't even feel guilty about it. Instead, the idea that Terry would scream in helpless rage because I'm spending the night with his cousin fills my heart with defiant glee. To hell with you, Terry. You had 18 months with me. This man's already done more with a back rub than you ever did. And then James's hands move to my sides, down to my hips. Briefly, his fingers dig into the hollows at the tops of my thighs, and I whimper, arching my back. Gosh, you're exquisite, he murmurs. I feel the velvet slide out from under me, and a flush of heat runs from my scalp to my breastbone. It feels like a conclusion is being made, not irrevocable, but definite. There it goes. His hands settle on the backs of my thighs and knead downward slowly, heading toward my still aching feet. I moan softly and bite my lip when he cups one foot in his manly long-fingered hands and kneads the pain away. Then he switches to the other, and by the time he's done, I'm so relaxed it feels like I'm floating. He straightens up, and then I hear the rustle and zip of his trousers. Then he crouches beside me again. Did you enjoy that? He murmurs in that same mesmerizing tone. I turn my head to face him, panting softly. His eyes burn with desire, but he hasn't yet touched me intimately. Only relaxed me while at the same time teasing me with what he can do with those hands of his. Yes, I whisper. He smiles tenderly. Good. Would you like me to kiss you? I offer my mouth at once, eyes closing shut, and feel his warm, ample lips capture mine. The kiss lingers almost lovingly, and then breaks as he leans back eagerly, gazing down at me. Shortly after. I've never felt so relaxed or satisfied in my life, or such affectionate gratitude. I can't speak yet, so I smile sleepily and nod instead. Then I drift off before he can even withdraw from me.
Chapter 5. James?
I wake up in the hotel room with a gorgeous naked lady curled in my arms, and my cell phone buzzing in my coat pocket across the room. Reluctantly, I walk, naked, to grab the phone into the bathroom, shutting the door before answering. Yeah. How'd the meeting go? Andrew's terse rasp permeates in my ear, and I roll my eyes. Damn. Now I have to think. Geez, Andrew, don't you sleep? I sigh. It's fine. I got Herschel to cough up another 10%. Trust Andrew to kill my afterglow with business talk. And the delivery? His tone doesn't relax. Of course it doesn't. Not about this. I keep calm and reassuring. The courier's been on the way for 2 hours. Your share will be there by 5 a.m. I guess you'll be awake. Until I have my share of that 10 million, yeah, I'm not sleeping a wink. That's Andrew, insomniac, borderline paranoid, distrustful as hell, even of us. He can be a giant pain in the ass, but he's exactly what we need when researching building schematics, or hacking a security company, or bank computers. I'm our entry man. I can defeat physical or electronic security systems, climb walls, and break into or escape from almost anywhere. Dale, meanwhile, handles the lookout and getaway. However, without Andrew, there are no schematics, no guard change schedules, and no research. It pays to keep the paranoid creep happy. Suit yourself. Anyway, it's done. I'll be back in New Orleans on Monday evening. We can have a meeting early Tuesday. I know exactly what I'll be doing for the intervening 3 days. You're staying over for the weekend? He sounds suspicious. I have family here. I'm visiting them for Thanksgiving. It's my prerogative to be in town this week. Actually, I could give less than 2 shits if I see the 3 of them again before Christmas. Karen is undeniably another story. I would visit New York City again for Karen any damn time. Oh, right. Forgot. His tone goes back to coldly neutral. We have to talk about the next job when you get back. Our target in Chicago just got some mob security. Damn. Might not be worthwhile at all. The last thing we need is to piss off the Chicago mob. Their guys have fenced our jewels, stamps, coins, and other goodies more than once. They have dirt on us, and a lot more power than we have. That's not an enemy we should make. I agree, he replies solemnly, sounding slightly relieved that we're on the same page. We'll go with something else. Caution and discretion have kept the 3 of us out of jail for over 10 years. That is why I always give at least half an ear to Andrew's paranoia. The aging, growly-voiced hacker has avoided run-ins with the law for longer than I've been alive, and his caution has been warranted 80% of the time. We're not exactly short on prospects. Anything else going on over there? I already miss New Orleans. The steamy heat will feel good after New York's bitter cold. Dale's dealer got picked up, and he's whining about it. Now he sounds exasperated. I snort and shake my head. That's definitely not the end of the world. There's a dealer on every damn corner during the holidays. We'll find a new one. I heave a sigh. Hold the fort over there, Drew. I gotta get some sleep. See you Monday then. If the package doesn't show within 2 hours, you'll hear from me again. He hangs up before I acknowledge. I sigh with relief and pause to look at myself in the mirror. He'd complain at me non-stop if he knew I was staying longer because of a woman. I wipe a trace of Karen's lipstick off the corner of my mouth before killing the light and going back to bed. When I get there, Karen is restless. She whimpers slightly and tosses. There is tension on her face. Nightmare. A tear leaks from beneath her closed lids. Yup. I touch her shoulder, shaking her gently. Karen? Her eyes fly open and she sucks air, hyperventilating with high, desperate sounds like screams in reverse. I grab hold of her at once and pull her into my arms. She clings to me, trembling and burying her face in my shoulder. Oh my, she sobs. I sit on the bed and gather her and the bedsheet around her into a bundle on my lap. I hold her and stroke her hair, speaking softly. It's okay. It is. It was just a dream, sweetheart. She shakes her head and clings to me more tightly. It was a memory, she finally mutters. Oh. Well, crap. If it's that troublemaker Terry. I start, but she shakes her head more slowly. Just hold me, she asks delicately. There's nothing else to be done. I do. That part's easy. With a fierce, knife-keen anger that startles me, I still want to know who hurt her. Hold on there, hotshot. You barely know the lady. Don't get attached too quickly. It's tough though with her warmth and fragrance in my arms, clinging to me like this. Okay. I don't know what's going on exactly, but you're out of harm's way with me. She slowly relaxes and replies, thank you. No problem. I nuzzle the top of her head and then set my chin on it. I've had my share of nightmare memories. I know how it gets. That seems to calm her, and she shifts her grip from a desperate cling to a warm embrace. As I look at her hair, I smile and close my eyes. That's better, I mutter. You need to talk about it. She hesitates. I don't want to unload on you this way. I asked. I'm not in much of a mood for a big therapy session with a new romantic partner, but I doubt that's what this is about. I can tell when someone has toughed their way through a lot of torment. There's a kind of survivor's pride that kicks in, along with a desperate need not to be a broken burden. They don't ramble about their problems forever. After a pause of silence, she says in a gentle but matter-of-fact voice, my dad liked to beat the crap out of us. My mom, Samantha, and me, I mean. He never touched my brothers. They were boys, so he liked them. My mother did nothing about what he did to us. She was probably glad somebody was around to take her place as a punching bag. She was more interested in pleasing him than protecting her kids. She sighs. They don't sound like suitable parents, I comment, and she nods. Good, you got away from them. I got a scholarship at a school on the East Coast just to do so. Her voice shakes slightly. I pet her back for a while, and she unruffles. That's how you learn where to file for a protection order. You've already done it. Damn it. This poor woman. I'd like to beat her father's face in. My fury on her behalf startles me again. I don't know how anyone could not care when faced with a story like this, but this is more. It's already starting to feel personal. Yeah. She leans back and smiles up at me thinly. The first ones I ever filed were against my father and brothers. My sister did the same. She just didn't move so far away. But they've never actually come here to New York, have they? I ask tentatively. She shudders. Once. After my dad got out of jail, he tried to visit my dorm. I wouldn't open the door. He punched the security guy, who removed him and ended up in jail again. Again. So, Dad was a criminal. Wonder what her take on criminals is. That sounds harrowing. I catch her eye as she uncurls slightly. Do you have anything for self-defense? I can't help but think of Terry, whom I still feel like kicking off this planet. Just a lot of pent-up rage. Weapon laws in New York City are crazy. She sounds annoyed. I wonder how long she tried to find a single proper self-defense weapon. Maybe I should give her some self-defense lessons. I can't always be here to protect her. But at least she can learn some basic principles. Like not caring what is legal, proper, or nice. I smile and nuzzle her cheek until she raises her mouth for a delicate kiss. Laws are crazy, period. Sometimes you have to ignore them to survive. That sounds like a good way to be arrested. Her brows draw together as she peers at me. I run my thumb over her lips. If it comes down to survival, screw the law, and the hell with being nice and decent. You have to protect yourself first. She frowns but then nods slowly. I'm just a bit scared of what I might do if someone actually tries to hurt me. After everything, I might go bonkers. Then do it, sweetheart. If your life is on the line, do whatever it takes. I grab her chin and look into her eyes. I want you to promise you won't restrain yourself if Terry, your family, or anyone else comes at you. She blinks in surprise, and I feel the warmth of her skin under my fingers. Even if it means to really hurt them? If they're going to hurt you, they deserve it, plain and simple. I lean down and kiss her again. Do what you have to. She nods. Her eyes widen and dilate as she gazes up at me. You need some direction, don't you? From someone who cares, someone you can trust. I promise, she says, and I smile back at her. Good. I settle her back on the bed, unwrapping the sheeting from her like the paper on a present. The bruise on her wrist has developed further, no restraints on her for at least a few days. But this time, I want her hands on me. She stretches out on the bed, and her eyes begin to go soft and bright with desire. Looks like the nightmare's lost its grip on her. I take hold of her instead. After what she's been through, she needs gentleness. Slowly, tenderly, I caress her, kissing her neck, rubbing her skin. I avoid touching the marks Terry left on her, and with my fingertips tease the ones I can until she trembles. Entering her soft, warm body, feeling her arms and legs hold me closer while she whispers encouragement in my ear. I feel too much tenderness, it's risky. Except the warning voice goes away as she stretches under me. She's so much fun to be with, especially now that I realize how much she's been missing. Then I settle over her, sighing with such deep contentment. That was too good. I want more of this. Maybe every night. That worries me faintly, but I feel too good to pay much attention. As I close my eyes to rest them for a few moments, another thought interrupts my bliss, the realization that I was shouting her name. Crap. Oh well, no helping it now. When I open my eyes again, dawn breaks outside. Disoriented, I look around. Oh, the hotel room. Karen is nestled against my naked torso. The delectable sense of relaxation, of fulfillment, slows my thoughts as I lean over to nuzzle my sweet little bedmate's tousled curls. I like her, I think, with a growing sense of warmth. I really like this one. It's only happened a few times, especially since I got into the business. It's easier to keep women at arm's length when you have to lie about where you've been, what you've been doing, and of course, how you earn money. Now and again, though, a romantic partner will get too close, and I'll hurt both of us by breaking things off. Melody, a jeweler who recuts and sets some of our stolen gems and recasts the gold from their settings, is the only romantic partner I've had who is actually in the business. We broke it off in a friendly way when she got serious with some guy with a vanilla job. That's the closest I've ever gotten to falling in love. Right now, though, looking at Karen's sleeping face, I'm already feeling more than that. It's worrisome. Too soon. And how in the hell can I maintain a relationship with a smart woman like her, without telling her what I do for a living? I sleepily move away from her, and then feel it. My eyes fly open as I become fully awake in a split second. Oh, this contraceptive. I fell asleep while still wearing it. I remove it, cleaning up the mess as I head to the bathroom. Did it break? If so, did any of the fluid get inside her? The worry passes after a moment. Probably not. What would be the chance anyhow? It's probably fine. I'll just tell her about it tomorrow.
Chapter 6. Karen.
So I'm leaving on Monday, but you're welcome to stick around as much as you like until then, James says as he brings me breakfast in bed. It's creme brulee on French toast with strawberries, a mimosa, and some tea, delivered by the room service. He lays it on a tray across my lap. I sit up against the pillows, the bedsheet draped across my chest. I would really like that. I'm completely dazzled by this man and what he's done, and I can't wait for more. Of course, I promised Samantha to have lunch with her before she went back to San Francisco. Great intimacy and great company tempt me to stay, but she's the only family member who is loyal to me. That's vital, no matter how huge of a crush I have on James. The other thing I want to propose, and this is a bit early, but I wanted to give you time to think about it. If you want a break from this messed up winter, I have a loft in New Orleans. You could stay for a week or so. His eyes search my face, so hopefully I realize this crush isn't one-sided. Say what? There's so much more about this man, it floors me. How can this wealthy, attractive, amazing romantic partner be smitten with someone like me? I smile way too wide, my cheeks warming. It is a little early. But I like the idea. And I really like you. I'll think about it. His eyes light up. Good. When I pick Samantha up for a late lunch and a movie, she notices right away that something's up. Hey, did that attractive guy James actually stay over after you dumped Terry? No, James didn't stay over. There was an incident after you left. She gives me a stern look. I pulled over for a minute to explain and nod. She pales slightly. That son of a gun put his hands on you? I wish James had tossed him over the railing. Terry's gone. James took pictures of the bruise on my arm. I already filed a protection order this morning. Good. I should have punched him in the teeth. How's the Black Friday traffic? I smirk. This is New York City. The first time I merged into traffic on my way from the airport, I almost had a panic attack. Everyone in New York State drives like they have to pee, or are an inch from hurting someone, so typical. Los Angeles had equally nasty traffic snarls when I was learning to drive. Angelinos aren't quite so aggressive. She chuckles a little nervously. I trust you can handle it then. I do, although we see 3 fender benders in the snarled traffic before reaching the theater. The movie is some forgettable bit of science fiction going on in front of me, as I sit in the dark, thinking about James. I squeeze my thighs together, tingling all over, recalling what love feels like. The taste of his mouth. The smell of his skin. The way it felt when his whole body went absolutely taut, his face transformed by pleasure. I want more. I'm definitely going back to his hotel tonight. I think about it as I sit next to my sister. Well, that was a waste of $30. Let's get some food, Samantha chuckles as we walk in the thin snowfall afterward. I nod, starving. Breakfast in bed went right through me. I guess good intimacy burns a lot of calories. We get bowls of ramen, hers with shrimp, mine with beef, and elaborate mochas piled with whipped cream and candy shavings. We take seats at the crammed bar. Every table is full of exhausted shoppers and their whining, tired kids. So, once you got rid of Terry, what happened between you and his attractive cousin? She leans toward me conspiratorially, a gleam in her eye. I wink at her, wondering how much to tell. But my cheeks are already burning, and a grin spreads across her face as she sees it. I spent the night with him. I couldn't go home anyway. As if that somehow excuses spending hours being with a man I've only spoken to twice. So? How was he? You seem way relaxed after the fiasco with Terry, so pretty good. Her eyebrows bounce. Level with me already. I press my lips together, cheeks heating even more. Finally, I giggle. He was amazing. Damn girl, at last. I was wondering if I had to set you up with one of my friends. So, will you see him again? She takes a bite of her ramen as she waits for my answer. Yes, definitely. There is no damn way I'll let him go. He lives in New Orleans though, doesn't he? Are you guys ready for a long-distance romance? I take a few bites of ramen to buy myself time. James invited me to go with him, at least for a while. I'm rather uncertain. He's talking about us spending a week down there. My cheeks are still burning. Samantha stares at me speculatively for a few seconds, and then slaps her hand on the table. I say go for it. I blink at her in surprise. Sis, wait, that's kind of hasty. Why? Because the guy makes you smile. Because New York is miserable in late November, and you hate it here. Now that you're done with school and Terry's gone, nothing is keeping you here. Go check out New Orleans for a week with an attractive guy. See how you like there, it's got to be better than this place. I swear to God, at this point you could take your business to any state and do just as well. She reaches over and pats my hand. I know you've worked hard to make a place here. And I know you won't go back to Los Angeles. But staying here can't be easy since you've been attacked on your own doorstep. I nod, swallowing a lump in my throat. I bet if there wasn't snow everywhere, you'd be happier visiting me for holidays. Oh, you know it, she chuckles. So anyway, what does James do for a living? Last night he mentioned he's in security but never shared details. He's doing business with 2 partners. They create custom-built security systems for mansions, jewelry stores, and things like that. James was vague about it over breakfast, mostly more interested in me and how I was feeling. Must be pretty good to afford the fancy suits. Did he actually rent a penthouse suite? Her eyes twinkle. Yeah. Probably a good thing. My screams of elation would have disturbed any guests sharing our floor. Even he hollered that second time. Karen. Karen. Damn. Your first proper time, and it's a rich, attractive business owner in a damn hotel penthouse. Not bad, sis. She snickers as I blush again. Not bad. I guess so. I know so, honey, you're glowing. You're going back for more later? Her eyes glimmer. Knowing you won't be alone tonight after this Terry thing would be great. I shake my head, thinking again of his body against mine. Oh, I definitely won't be alone tonight, I utter with a lopsided smile.
Chapter 7. Karen.
I take my sister to the airport and drive back to town after our lunch, the crazy traffic hardly bothering me. My head is full of last night and New Orleans and James. I go back to my apartment to get some fresh clothes before going to the hotel. My place looks tinier now, and though the inside is still a charming little haven, I shudder when I cross the doorstep. The room is still haunted by Terry. I briefly go around throwing everything of his in the trash, mostly cheap beer, empties, and printouts of his favorite fad images. I never let him leave much stuff, and now I'm extra thankful for it. Once that is over, I grab a few outfits and toiletries and put them into my smallest suitcase. I don't want to come back often in the next few days. My old-school cheap answering machine is full of messages. I ignore the flashing light as I walk past. I already know who the hell they all are from, and I don't want to hear from him. I can use the recordings later as evidence against him. He's not supposed to be calling me. You had your chance, Terry. I look around for anything else to bring with me. The emergency protection order has barely taken effect, and you've already violated it. Good job, you idiot. While I'm packing up, the phone rings again. I ignore it. I grab the pies and make a few sandwiches, bag them up and put them in my reusable shopping bag. I don't have the funds for room service, and I don't want to assume that James will just keep paying. Besides, depending on how long he's in town, I'm not sure if I'll have much time at home to eat all these leftovers. New Orleans. He really asked me to go to New Orleans with him. The suitcase is a little heavy, but it protects my stuff. I pull the bar up to roll it behind me, and sling the handles of the shopping bag under my arm, with the pies balanced precariously on the palm of my hand. As I open the door and pull out my keys to step outside, Terry is right there waiting for me. He lunges at me from a few feet away, face is twisted and purple with rage, and the adrenaline hits me like a billion icy needles stabbing inside of my veins. And that's when I don't see Terry anymore. I see my father instead. I shriek and the pies fly into his face. He stumbles back, grunting and flailing at the mess obscuring his vision. A metallic clatter barely registers in my ears. The keys are between my fingers, and I punch him in the face. He stumbles back a few more feet. I strike him again, and now there's blood mixing with the chunks of apple and smashed pumpkin drooling down his scraggly chin. He tries again, and I beat at his throat. He barely tucks his chin down in time, and gets a slash there as well. My hand hurts, it's bleeding. I drop the keys and unsling my shopping bag. He bellows like an angry bull and rushes me again, too crazy with rage to realize his face is mangled. I grab the suitcase and hit him right in the face. He yelps in shock. I hit him again, his arms fly up to shield himself, and I drive the handle into his gut instead. The whole time, I'm yelling at him, the same word over and over, not even coherent, like a battle cry punctuated by the blows. Screw you, screw you. Screw you. And scary, abusive Terry stumbles back from me, teary and snotty as a kid after a fall. Ow. OWWW. Ow. Karen, stop, you're hurting me, ow. Stop. I wasn't going to do anything. I was just mad about the restraining order. Stop. Stop. I hit him in the face with the suitcase again, flattening his nose in a crunch and spray of blood. I told you not to come back. I told you to leave me alone. Yes. Yes, you did, but how could I? I said leave me alone. I hit him again, and he stumbles, teetering at the top of the concrete staircase leading to the street. Get away from me. You crazy dense imbecile, what does it take? You don't mean that, he starts and actually reaches out to me and takes a few steps forward. You love me. You're mine. No. I slam the corner of the suitcase into his balls. His eyes widen and his knees buckle. He folds over at the very top of the stairs and then overbalances. He tumbles halfway down the stairs and then wads up against the railing, knees up, cradling his groin. You heartless tramp. I hate you. And I belong to myself. You have 10 seconds before I call the cops about the restraining order violation. Make them count. I pull out my phone. For a guy crying about my hurting him, he sure gets up fast to run for his battered Dodge when I mention the police. He's too out of shape to even cross the parking lot before I call the cops and give them the information, and his license plate number. Goodbye, Terry. Only then do I look down at my hand, which is torn up between the fingers from using the keys. Oh well, it worked. I turn to walk back to my open door, and that's when I see it gleaming on the concrete walkway right next to my welcome mat. A damn 18-inch Bowie knife. My knees collapse under me. I stare at Terry's knife, realizing that the blitz attack I was just starting to feel a little guilty about literally saved my life. With shaking hands, I grab my phone to call the police again and share this terrifying new information. Then I call James. You doing okay? He asks the moment he hears my voice. No. I'm gonna be stuck at my place for an hour or so. My voice is shaky. I'll come back to the hotel after that. He shouldn't deal with a bunch of nosy police, because his cousin tried his hand at resentful killing. I look back at the knife. The knife I can't carry for self-defense, because Terry could show up at my door in response to the ineffective protection order. The cold seeps into my skin and I shake my head. Screw New York. I think I actually would like to visit New Orleans with you. I really already wanted to, but now it feels like a need. I'm curious why you came to your decision so quickly, he replies. Come back when you can, all right? I smile, already feeling a little better. I will. The police find Terry hiding in a parking lot 2 blocks from my apartment building. He's weaseled his way under one of the cars, so they bring in canines. The call comes through that he's in custody, while I'm being questioned. When I identify him in the lineup, his arm is bandaged and swollen from where the dog fastened onto him. While I was giving my report, his mother called my phone twice. I let it go to messages, and don't even listen to them. I know she's begging me not to press charges, just as I know that the stupid enabling tramp will be paying his bail. Neither one is my problem anymore. By the time it's over, I'm so exhausted that I have to hire a car to go to the hotel. Terry slashed all 4 tires while I was inside packing. When the driver drops me off at the door, the snow is really starting to blow. I swear, I am only staying in this messed up city long enough to testify. Then, whether it's to New Orleans, San Francisco with Sam, or somewhere else, I am moving the hell away. Crap, I should have gone back with you. James's eyes widen as I walk in, spattered in pie and one hand wrapped in gauze. What the hell happened? Are you okay? I answer with a nervous laugh as I step into the room, dragging in the 2 plastic bags the police gave me. My suitcase has been entered into evidence. Terry made a mistake. I'm wrung out from adrenaline, but it's different this time. I won. I'm not the one bleeding. Not much, anyway. He locks the door behind me and takes my bags, then leads me over to the couch beside the chaise longue and sits me down. Okay. Tell me everything, including if I need to kill him. For a moment, I think he's showing off, playing the tough guy to impress me. Then I see the rigid look in his eyes, and realize he is genuinely irate. I stiffen, swallowing nervously, and his face immediately softens. I'm sorry. I don't mean to upset you more. It's okay, I breathe, calming down. I'm not used to guys being angry in my defense instead of at me. Yeah, well, I keep hearing about jerks that hurt you. Of course, I want to be the guy that helps you get revenge. I try my best to lighten the mood by flirting with him a little. So spoil me, I tease gently. Living well is the best revenge of all. He kisses me and then looks down at my hand. Did a medic get a look at this? Yeah, I just tore up my hand using my keys to punch Terry in the face a few times. James goes quiet for a moment as his eyebrows slowly rise. Wait, what? I explain the whole thing blow by blow through my desperate assault using pie, keys, my suitcase, and a lot of yelling. As I reiterate, James's face journey is amazing. First shock and rage, then astonishment, then mild awe and growing delight. By the time I sent his cousin tumbling down the stairs, James was laughing so hard that he had tears in his eyes. I smile sheepishly. So yeah, I did exactly what you told me. I didn't hold back. No, you didn't. Oh my gosh, you are amazing. I'm keeping you. Come here. And he hugs me tight, apple chunks and all. My heart swells and I smile against his chest. How the hell can I feel so good this soon after the worst breakup ever? It's all him. I want to keep him too. He orders some tea to warm me up. I've been outside in the chill for hours. I sit and sip it as I fill him in on the rest. Of course, nobody came outside this time either. I'm starting to think that a lot of New Yorkers are a bit sociopathic. You're probably right about that. This isn't a good city for you. It wasn't for me either. He picks an apple chunk out of my hair. How about we table this until after you get cleaned up? Sounds good to me, I say, pulling off my pie-spattered coat and carrying it gingerly into the bathroom with me. I deliberately get cleaned up before looking at myself in the mirror. I don't need to get depressed again. I rinse off my coat, clean up after that, and hang it up before undressing and stepping into the shower. My hand is slightly crusted with blood under the gauze. I won't need stitches, but it's still nasty looking. It stings as I rinse it off. I did it. I actually fought off that piece of crap and saved my own life. I'm amazed at myself. I was amazed at how much having the right man believe in me and instructing me to look after myself helped me find my strength. James wants me to protect myself. He sees me as worthy of protection, and he doesn't want me saying or doing otherwise. No matter what my father, Terry, and jerks like them keep saying, I am worth protecting. I'm really proud of you, sweetheart. You want some help cleaning your hair? James asks through the door. A tingle runs through me and I beam. Yes, please come join me. I hear the door open and he steps inside. There's the rustle of him shedding his clothes, then the shower door rolls aside and he steps in behind me. He grabs a sponge and the soap and lathers up. Get yourself nice under that spray, sweetie. I'll take care of you. As the sponge glides over my skin and his free hand starts to do the same, I shiver happily and start to relax. Every awful, ugly, humiliating, uncomfortable thing I have gone through since going back to my apartment is slowly draining away, like the chill from being outside. We laugh over the bits of pie in my hair, and he laments that my delicious leftovers become weapons. Next time I have access to a kitchen, I promise him pie. He says he'll hold me to it. It feels like James is washing the last vestiges of Terry off of me, bathing me in his touch and scent as much as in soap and water. Everything, even the close call I didn't know was a close call until I saw that knife, fades firmly into the past. Terry's in jail, I've blocked his mom's phone number, and I'm going to New Orleans.
Chapter 8. Karen.
As soon as the plane levels and the fasten seatbelt sign turns off, James starts stripping. I blink at him in mildly fascinated confusion as he shucks his jacket, sweater, and turtleneck, leaving him in his clinging t-shirt. When he unbuckles his belt, I blink and say, babe, there are a couple of nuns across the aisle. Should I cover their eyes?" "Oh, don't get up on my account, honey," one of the nuns calls out, sending me into a blushing fit and making the sister next to her snort and poke her on the arm. James chuckles. "Sorry to disappoint? You'll join the Mile High Club when I get a pilot's license." He shucks his trousers to reveal a pair of loose blue cotton pants. Still bundled up, I watch as he packs his shed clothes and tucks his bag back under the seat. Now I know why he brought it half empty. Is it really that hot in New Orleans? As we say locally, it's not the heat, it's the humidity. It's like New York right before a thunderstorm, warm and wet. But don't worry. He pulls a package from under the seat, in front of him. "I brought you a change of clothes too." Inside the box is a silk gauze outfit, deep ultramarine to go with his deep blue, a tank dress, and a filmy shawl to camouflage the bruise on my arm and all the hickeys he's left on me. Wow. I didn't expect gifts, especially this soon. Heck, Terry never got me a single thing. I could get used to this. I end up changing in the airport, already sweating even with the air conditioning. I slip into the women's room, shed my New York camouflage, and come out a California girl on vacation. Outside, winter has turned into summer. "You look lovely," he purrs as I take his arm. "I'm going to show you everything I love about this town." It starts pouring down, warm steamy rain 2 minutes after we leave the airport. James lets out a laugh and turns on the windshield wipers. Guess the walking tour of the French Quarter will have to wait. I don't mind. This is dreamland. The habitual tension of New York City is leaving me, minute by minute, as I gaze out on the damp streets of the Big Easy. New Orleans in the rain. I roll my window down partway, and the steamy scent of the city blows in at me. Rain, river water, car exhaust, half a dozen cuisines, wet greenery and ozone. I hear a faint rumble of thunder far away, the wind is rising. I'm glad I came. Right now I barely care if I go back. I just want to live and be happy for a while, with nothing crazy going on. "You look happier just getting out of town," he notes. I look at him and smile, nodding. "Thanks for this. After everything, I can't even tell you how grateful I am to get out of the city for a week. And I can't ask for better company. I have a couple of meetings with clients and my partners this week, including one late in the morning tomorrow," he says optimistically. "Other than that, I'm all yours. All I request is that you not be shy about asking for things. We just finished a new business deal, and I'm feeling prosperous." "Better watch it, you're tempting me to take advantage," I tease, and he laughs. "I'm not worried about you asking for too much. I just want to make sure you don't ask for too little. I'm in the mood to spoil you." He winks, and as we cut through the thin afternoon traffic, I squeeze my thighs together, along with taking a shivery breath. Nobody in my entire life has said that, and actually meant it. And even though it's probably stupidly premature, I feel myself falling for him slightly more. His loft turns out to be on the top floor of a converted hotel, on the edge of the Garden District. It's mostly one big room, ancient shiplap on the walls and the floor, and ceiling beams made of equally old and heavy timber. The whitewashed walls neatly contrast with the dark wood, the windows are heavily screened and draped in pale gauze. A complete home gym dominates half of the main room space, including a baffling array of poles, ladders, perches, and handholds covering the walls and hanging from the ceiling. It almost looks like an obstacle course, or like James flies around when he's home alone. The rest of the loft is about what I expected. A high-end, unusually neat bachelor pad, complete with a huge entertainment center and a couple of pinball machines in one corner. Other than that, the space, though beautiful, is rather plain. "This is lovely," I comment, walking over to look at the sixth-floor view. From this high up, the wet street and its inhabitants blur into blobs of saturated color, like an impressionist painting. "Do you have a lot of guests here?" "Just my partners or the occasional friend or romantic partner. Actually, you're the first lady I've had over in a long while." There's a thoughtful note in his voice as he takes my bag and takes it to the master bedroom door. "Would you like the nickel tour?" "Sure." I ignore the minor discomfort when he mentions having other romantic partners over. "Don't be ridiculous." I follow him around the main chamber and into the bedroom, which is one of only 3 rooms with actual doors on them. It's a big airy space, dimmer than the others, and dominated by a broad bed with a massive oak frame. To my surprise, the corner of the room has a wrought iron spiral staircase going up. "What's up there?" He smiles. "That's the rooftop garden. It's mine as well, actually the whole building is mine. I rent to friends and the few businesses on the ground floor. Upstairs is kind of my sanctum. It's a bit hot to use the jacuzzi, but later, after the storm, it will be cool enough." The idea of the hot tub excites me, but not in the current heat, and surely not on a rooftop in a thunderstorm. I'd like to have a look once it cools down. For now, I'm going to grab my bong and make a couple of mint juleps. "Have you had them before?" He steals a kiss as he breezes past me, showing me the bathroom before walking through the broad kitchen archway. "Mint juleps? No, never. Are you trying to get me wasted?" I lift an eyebrow. He pauses and in the same cheery tone asserts, "No, I'm trying to get me wasted. Care to join me?" I stifle a giggle. "Sure." God knows I need to relax as much as possible after Terry. And I trust James. If he takes advantage of me while I'm high as a kite, I'm sure it will be something I end up thoroughly enjoying. "How long have you been in interior decoration?" he asks, as he dumps an enormous bud into his grinder and pops the cap back on. The juleps are already half empty. It's hard to savor a drink when the ice melts in a few minutes. I need some help with this place, as well as some of the lower floors. They're quite bland. I look around thoughtfully. You have almost no art or plants, and your color scheme is blacks, dark browns, and whites. You could use some mid-tones and other colors besides brown. You think so? The thing is, I like keeping my walls clear. I guess I could have a mural. He looks around. What about stained glass and light catchers? The crystal ones? Those would color your walls with nothing in the way of your. I look around at all the stuff on the upper walls. Obstacle course? What is all of that? You've basically got it. I'm a parkourist and a caver. This is where I practice when I don't have time to do it outside. I stare at some of the more improbable perches and handholds, and then blink at him. Do you fly?" He laughs merrily. "No, I've just had a lot of practice and built up my strength and limberness. Which is also why he has such an amazing body. I'll gladly demonstrate if you'd like." "Later," I say, amused by how eager he seems to impress me. "But now, James later." He snorts and starts to load the bong. 20 minutes later, I finished my drink, melted ice, and everything else. My lungs burn from a lot of coughing, but a tingling sensation has eased through my body. I'm lying in the crook of his arm on his enormous couch, talking about how to decorate his loft. "You prefer all your plants upstairs and none indoors?" I feel good. I haven't had this much good pot since smoking with one of my college professors. "Yeah, they're all upstairs." I take advantage of the fact that it doesn't drop below freezing here. It changes how things grow. He cuddles me close as we smoke. Once the bong bowl is ashed and I'm so loose and peaceful I'm almost dozing off, he helps me up to show me the rooftop garden. In my drowsy state, the climb up the spiral staircase takes some effort, but then he opens the rooftop door, and I disregard my temporary discomfort. We emerge under a large, screened-in gazebo with rain tapping on it. The hulk of a 12-seat jacuzzi takes up half of the space underneath. I walk up to one of the screens and glance over a broad swath of green dotted with flowers and fruits. It's like summer in late November. He loops his arm around my shoulders. Do you like it? I don't know what it is, the booze, the pot, everything that's happened, James himself. But the sight of all the greenery brings tears to my eyes. It's incredible. Hey, he says, instantly concerned. Hey, what is it? Oh, it's silly. I wipe my eyes impatiently and force a smile. In New York, I get so depressed over winter. This makes me not want to go back. There's so much more to it, but I don't feel like ruining the moment with a long wine session. I just know it now, New York has become too uncomfortable for me to stay. Now, thanks to Terry, almost as many awful things have happened to me there as in California. Don't think about going back then. I can give you enough work so you can stay here for at least a few months. Would breaking your lease be a problem? His voice is so kind that my eyes brim over again. I'm sure I could get someone to take over my lease in under a week of searching. I take a deep breath. I just guess we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. No. And you shouldn't worry about going home when you've barely gotten here. He kisses my chin, then the end of my nose, teasing me before kissing my mouth. Forget about 7 days from now. Forget about yesterday. Come here. And he pulls me into his arms. I am falling for him more and more as he holds me close, and I keep reminding myself I barely know him. We might not get along long term. Problems may crop up. But the future is undefined. At this moment, his warm caresses make the sadness go away and banish my overthinking. I wrap my arms around his neck and he lifts me, delicately twisting with every step as he carries me downstairs. The pot makes helping each other out of our clothes into a comical, fumbling exercise, with a lot of kisses and wandering hands. He lets me explore his body this time, quivering in delight as I trace my fingers over his back. But when I start trailing my hands curiously toward his groin, he chuckles and nudges my hand away. No petting, dear. I want it to last. Do whatever you want with me, I hear myself whisper, and I mean it with all my heart. He smiles. Good girl. Not long after. I collapse, exhausted, and when I open my eyes again, James is climbing back into bed with me. He snuggles against me from behind, wrapping an arm around me. Filled with serenity and protection, I quickly drift off.
Chapter 9. James.
Later that night, a strong thunderstorm rolls in. The sound of hail shattering against the reinforced windows awakens my appetite. I open my eyes to my darkened bedroom and turn briefly to look. Karen's here curled up next to me, head on the pillow beside mine, as if she belongs here. Maybe she does, I think, and the rush of warmth troubles me again. But I'm getting less worried, I realize, slipping out of bed to take a shower. I'm starting to like the idea. Except for one tiny nagging thing. How do you earn this much running a security company? I have to tell her the truth, I think, as I soap off our sweat and her perfume. The faint nail marks she left on my biceps sting a bit, making me smile in spite of the serious subject. I should spoil her first, get her used to the money, before I disclose where it comes from. Either way, I scarcely know her, and I'm already tempted to take the risk. By the time I get out of the shower, I'm starving. I need a steak. I dress in a clean pair of shorts and a black t-shirt and saunter into the main room, making a beeline for the kitchen. I'm walking past the couch when Andrew's voice speaks up from it. So who's the girl? His voice is neutral but curious. The fact that he's here in my home without being invited tells me two things. He already suspected I'd shacked up with someone, and either he doesn't like it, or something so urgent it demands a face-to-face. Also, I should beef up my security again, using even less hackable electronics. Geez, Andrew, what are you doing here? I complain as my shock dies down. Instead of addressing him directly, I walk past him to the kitchen, pull out a couple of marinated steaks and a can of beer, and start fixing myself and Karen a proper meal. You've been lying to me, he replies in the same cold tone. You had other reasons for staying in New York, and now you've got a girl with a suitcase in your loft, and we have a meeting tomorrow morning. It's not like you. He appears at the end of the counter, squinting, as I turn on the lights over it. He's a compact, lean man with a narrow fox face, sunken, pale blue eyes, and orange hair he crops close. Is that woman why you stayed in New York for 3 days, when you can't stand it there? I start searing the steaks, doing the edges first so the fat melts into the pan. Okay, first off, you're way over the boundary here. And not just because I find you camped out on my couch while I'm entertaining a romantic partner. How long have you been here? Half an hour. Well, at least he wasn't listening in. You go through my computer. I snap, looking over at my desk. He glances that way and shrugs one skinny shoulder. Of course. Asshole. I leave the steaks to sear on one side as I crack my beer open. I'm too annoyed to offer him one. I didn't lie to you. There was a debacle with my family, and I needed the weekend. She's involved. How big of a debacle? His eyes narrow. Something to worry about. No. It's strictly a New York my family kind of chaos. My cousin got himself arrested because he went full Norman Bates on the lady. I was the only one willing to deal with the situation. So I did. His eyebrow rises. Seduction is how you deal with Terry's girlfriend. I snort. That happened separately, more or less. But yeah, she's here for a week. She wanted to get out of New York to unwind after dealing with it. And now you have a house guest that you're sleeping with and hiding it from us. His scowl almost looks like a pout. Nobody's hiding anything. We got into town 4 hours ago. I was going to tell you at the meeting. He grunts acknowledgement, uncertain if he believes me or not. Anyway, tell me how who I sleep with is any of your business. I flip the steaks and take another big swallow of my beer. It becomes my business if your pillow talk lets anything slip, he snaps back. The muscles in his lean jaw work. I eye him for a moment. Drew? The girl knows nothing. No situation with her involves you, and it's not like it'll get in the way of business if I have an active love life. He scowls and glances away. Yeah, it is. Women want attention. They want to know why you come in at 3 in the morning. And they don't just notice every damn thing, they gossip. You sound like a manosphere blogger. Knock it off. I can understand why Andrew doesn't trust women. His wife tried to roll over on him as fallout from their divorce. But that doesn't give him the right to stick his big damn nose in my stuff. Fine. He pulls out a cigarette and puts it between his lips. Go out on the balcony to smoke, it stinks, I grumble, finally handing him a beer. It's raining out. But he doesn't light it. He takes the beer and glances at the bedroom door. I know you don't plan to give us problems. It's not quite a question. I sigh hard and preheat the oven. If I was planning to betray you, the money wouldn't have been in your hands before I left New York. I would have grabbed the whole 10 million and taken off. Sometimes, I get so tired of Andrew's paranoia and total lack of any manners that I want to punch him. It may keep us safe sometimes, but it is incredibly hard to live with. It's one of the reasons the three of us never got a big place together. I would never have been able to have friends or a romantic partner over. He grunts and tucks the cig behind his ear, taking a drink. You have a point. We've been working together for 10 years, Drew. When are you going to trust me? I'm already getting a headache. Lightning flashes, and I see his bitter smirk outlined in the hard light for a moment before he goes back to scowling. I don't even trust myself, James. That's how I stay out of jail. The girl's not a problem, I say decisively. Give me her name then. I'll do a background check. I burst into low, incredulous laughter. Oh, for heaven's sake, Drew, really? He stares at me implacably. Fine, I mutter. But next time, give me a phone call when you have questions for me. Don't break into my place. He snorts and drains his beer, his Adam's apple working in his narrow throat. Just helping you find the holes in your security. He crushes the empty can, then sets it on the counter. See you at 10. Walk out the door like a normal person, I tell him, but he's already out on the balcony, where I can see a grappling hook on the iron railing. We're not normal people, James. Don't forget that. And with that, he's gone. I sigh and shut the door. Of all the hackers I could have ended up partners with, I had to get the one with a Batman complex and no sense of boundaries. On the other hand, I'm confident he won't find anything troubling on Karen, no matter how deep he digs. So fine. He'll make inquiries, reassure himself, and it'll be over. I pop the steaks in the oven on high heat and stroll to the fridge again to make a salad. He'll shut the hell up, like he does every time his paranoia is off beam. Lightning flashes, and the thunder rumbles almost on top of it. Outside, the wind moans in the eaves of the old building. Crazy old creep, climbing cables up the wall in this downpour. Dale has an innocent streak and sometimes needs things explained to him in small words, but he's dead stable. Andrew, he's brilliant, but I take turns being annoyed with him and worried about him. And he needs to stay out of my house when he's not invited. I check my watch. It's not even late, 10 o'clock. I consider my phone for a few moments. Aunt Caroline has called 6 damn times since yesterday. I know she'll beg for bail money. I frown. Part of me wants to call her and explain why I'm not going to help this time. Part of me wants to see her grasp the truth about her son, that he's gone from being a whiny disappointment in life to a genuinely dangerous failure in life. It's great Karen beat the shit out of him. It's somehow more satisfying than doing it myself. I finish chopping the tomatoes, cucumber, and avocado into the lettuce and squeeze lemon juice and olive oil over it. Then I sprinkled on some herbs and garlic and had a taste. Perfect. I check the steaks and slice up some sourdough to go with our feast. I'm sure Karen will wake up hungry, and I want to astonish her. She's not the only one who cooks. Setting the table, I think about Andrew's warning and how tempted I am to tell Karen everything. I don't want to lie or hide things from her. That will end up being a deal breaker if it comes up later. And it will. If a relationship lasts long enough, these things always come up. I haven't really done love, but the same damn thing happens with good friendships. I know better than to consider long-term deceit with a romantic partner. Especially Karen, who has been betrayed and disappointed by every man in her life. I don't want to be another link in that incredibly messed up chain. I'd rather be the one who breaks the cycle for good. But unless she knows what I am and what I do, there is nothing permanent between us. If I reveal myself as a professional thief and she can't accept it, the exact kind of problem Drew warned me about will occur. And I would do what he fears, expose us to someone who goes to the police for help. Damn. What do I do? I look back at the simple meal and smile slowly. I reach into the middle of the kitchen floor and open a trapdoor, which reveals a spiral staircase leading to the wine cellar. I've been collecting bottles since I made my first million a decade ago. She always goes for the red wine at dinner. I descend in search of a bottle twice my age. The plan I came up with runs through my head as I retrieve a 1958 Barolo and uncork it to breathe. The scent of wine mixes with the scent of herbs and roasting meat, and I grab a slice of bread and cheese to tame my growling stomach. Once the meat is resting and the candles are lit, I walk back into the bedroom to wake my romantic partner. Spoil her, I think. Spoil her until the idea of being with a crook doesn't sound so bad. Then tell her.
Chapter 10. Karen.
So, how was New Orleans? Samantha's voice on my phone fills with mischievous excitement. I laugh awkwardly. Well, I'm actually still there, I'm here. It's been 10 days since the plane touched down in New Orleans, and the thought of taking off for New York City and my tiny apartment has barely entered my thoughts. James has been busy dazzling me, and I've been active getting attached. I've seen every museum and historical site, drunk generations-old wine, and toured the bayou in a fan boat. I've tasted absinthe and gone on haunted house tours. I'm dressed in silk, I have diamond studs in my ears. If James isn't trying to keep me, he's doing a damn good job of faking it. What? What about your court case against Terry? What about your apartment? She sounds almost horrified, as if I've lost my mind. I ignore the heat creeping across my cheeks. I sublet it to a friend, Sam, it's fine. I couldn't stay in town anyway after Terry made bail. But you're going back to testify, right? That piece of shit needs to be in a cage. She's been on a vendetta since learning I was being attacked by Terry while she was flying cross-country. Yes, I absolutely am, but with the backlog he probably won't get a hearing for 4 months. 4 months? Meanwhile, does he get to walk around for free? What the hell? Her voice cracks a little with outrage, she's been fighting a cold. Yeah, now you see my problem. Or part of it. The case may be moved up if he keeps violating though. Which he does constantly. Phone calls and emails from multiple numbers and accounts to get past my blocks. A drift of threatening letters forwarded from my sublet, Carl, and sent on to the NYPD. Carl's a professional bouncer and ex-Marine. The first time Terry showed up on the doorstep with another knife, Carl exploded out of the door, took the knife away, pitched him over the railing and called the police. The second time, he just leaned out with a camera and took pictures while Terry ran. Those were sent to the cops as well. Apart from taking him back to jail for a while, they're of little use. It's frustrating, but since I'm out of town, it's not really my problem. Okay, I can understand why you don't want to go back right now. At least tell me you have some positive reasons for staying in New Orleans. She sounds worried. I scramble to reassure her. Of course there are. And not only James, although he's still as amazing. I have a couple of projects I'll be doing over the next few months. Not more small stuff like daycares, right? Her skepticism sets my teeth on edge, but I shake it off. James's loft and an art gallery owned by a friend of his. Big bucks and big references. Exactly what I need to get my business to the next level and grow some local roots. I've fallen in love with New Orleans, just as I'm falling for James. The sights, the people, the food, the lack of snow. They have some impressive storms rolling through this season, but all I get in them is wet. Mosquitoes are many. And vicious, especially by the water, but they're not much worse than the ones in New York during the summer. That actually sounds like you're doing well down there. What will you do when you have to testify? Come back for a few months, wrap it up. Then, if things continue to go well over here, my lease ends in April. Once Terry is convicted, there's nothing tying me there. And good riddance. And James? How's he treating you? Her tone goes cautious. She's heard me gush about him twice so far, but after everything that's happened, she's protective. He's spoiling the heck out of me, Sam. I have never experienced anything like it. I lie back on James's couch, stretching out luxuriantly. Some of it I can't even tell her about, like how we've been experimenting with silk scarves and blindfolds now that my wrist has healed. Like the slightly sore spots on my butt where he smacked me last night. Or alternatively, my uncertainties about James's line of work. Well, good. You deserve it. Best to start working down there though. Don't depend on a guy you don't know very well. There is a warning in her tone, and I understand it. After Terry, I'm cautious as well. Don't worry. I have enough to put myself in a hotel, or even on a plane if James unexpectedly gets weird with me. This might still happen. It's been nearly 2 solid weeks of fabulousness, but we're in that honeymoon period at the start of a relationship. Something may still go wide of the mark. However, it's curious how he get all this wealth from a small security company. Why his hours are so odd. And why he deals with everything in cash. The mystery only grows as the weeks continue. He's never short on money, never worried about bills, never talks about deadlines. His family is poor, so he isn't sitting on an inheritance. Where does it come from? Why doesn't he talk about his work? And why have I met friends of his from all over the city, but not his partners? It all comes to a head on New Year's Day when I wake up sick to my stomach. I don't know what the hell is going on, I ramble as James helps me up from kneeling in front of the toilet. Breakfast was apparently a mistake. I ate eggs and toast without so much as a gurgle from my stomach, but one bite of the sausage patty made me run for the bathroom. It's definitely not a hangover, you only had a goblet of champagne. He hands me a glass of water. I rinse my mouth, spit and flush, turning to brush my teeth. Maybe a doctor should examine you. Yeah, this is kind of troubling. It's only been one day, but if it's something contagious, I want to know. I end up going to James's doc, an old German lady who practices in her converted domicile. She has tough gray eyes, iron-colored curls, and is blunt but kind. Regrettably, one of her first questions alarms me. How long has it been since your last period? Oh crap. Maybe 2 months. Although it's intermittent when I'm stressed, and my ex kinda tried to kill me. Well, that could cause sufficient stress to delay ovulation, however. I'm going to run a few tests. Her knowing look worries me even more. Half an hour later, she knows what's wrong, and so do I. In her words, my body's working as it's supposed to, and my symptoms are what to expect early in a pregnancy. I'm astonished as I walk out to the small waiting room. James stands up and rushes to my side. Hey, you okay? You're white as a sheet. I look at him and moisten my lips, then swallow and take a deep breath. The words won't come out. It's not life-threatening. But without a doubt, it was life-changing, and I'm not sure what to do. Except to deal with it, and that means James needs to face it as well. I'll tell you when we get home. He nods, looking dubious and concerned. It looks like the entire awkward, silent drive home. When we get to the loft, he sits me down on the couch and makes ginger tea. Okay, he settles in next to me. Spill. You have me worried. I'm between 8 and 10 weeks pregnant, I announce quietly, bracing myself for turmoil. Shock, denial, maybe even ejection. Nothing James has ever done makes me think this way. I'm just used to men disappointing me. His jaw drops and his eyes widen. My heart is beating too fast and nausea creeps up my throat. Oh gosh, please, I don't know what to do. Please don't add this on top of everything. I want to have a kid. I've always figured I would have a few. I'm not baby crazy like some, but it was definitely always part of the plan. What about James? This is where our twisted romance ends. Crap, one of the rubbers must have failed. What do you want to do? I'm trying to figure that out, I say breathlessly. I'm frightened. Are you mad at me? He stares in amazement for a moment, then gathers me onto his lap and holds me tight. No, sweetheart. You're used to taking the blame for every damn thing, and this isn't your blunder. We have to work things out. My relief was so enormous that I burst into tears. Oh gosh, I thought you'd send me away, I sob as he hugs me. No. Nothing like that. Look, this is complicated. You don't know a lot of stuff about me, and a child means commitment. I've got some reflecting to do. That doesn't mean I'll toss you out of my life. Through my tears, I smile at him, grasping the thread of hope he's throwing me with both hands. I hesitate. James, you know I'm crazy about you. Would you ever actually want to settle down with me and have a kid? It's a direct query, and I desperately need an honest answer. Want to? He sighs into my hair. Baby, of course I want to keep you in my life. The only dilemma with this pregnancy is timing. Indeed, the timing is awful. We've just started out. Also, I'm not positive at this point in my life that I'm great mommy material. In fact, the first thing I felt when I learned of my pregnancy was a particular dread. I'll screw this up. I will be a horrific mother, because my parents were terrible. And even if I'm crazy about him, do I want to be tied to someone I know so little? My bad luck with men could boomerang. Except this time, I'll be stuck. I could visit a clinic, but there is no medical necessity. And it's James's baby. I want to keep everything of his. I'm anxious. But you make me feel better. You always do, babe. I nestle against him, trying to calm down. He kisses the top of my head. I'm stunned, but look, we'll work it out, I guarantee. I wish to believe him, but am too busy musing about his full confession. The secrets he's been keeping from me, they may be deal breakers. I love you, James, but who are you really? And what kind of husband or father would you be?
Chapter 11. James,
Karen is pregnant with my child. The moment I hear it, the fact rips me in half, and each half is instantly at the other's throat. Part of me is shocked, elated, hopeful this means my Karen will stay with me for good. The other half is thinking about how to tell her what my business is. Andrew will shit brickworks if he finds out, so he better not. How can you hide things from a meddlesome paranoid, genius hacker? I have to find a way. Because the more I think about this, the more I want it. I want her, I want the baby, our life together, and the whole 9 yards. But can she handle being part of my world? For that matter, can Andrew handle her being part of it? I better come up with something brilliant. I can't lose her. She takes a nap in the afternoon, and I go to visit the converted warehouse functioning as our headquarters and staging area. Now that things have cooled off a bit, it's time to plan another job. The entire drive down, I'm thinking of Karen, upset about how she might react when she learns my story. Baby. She's having our baby. I'm going to be a dad. But if she can't handle the truth, everything will go away, including her. When I walk in, Andrew is already there. He looks up from the bank of computers tucked into the nearby corner and nods as I walk past him to grab a beer from the fridge. Dale's running late. Stuck in traffic. His smirk discloses how likely he thinks that narrative is. He's ex-NASCAR. I grumble as I slump down at the big craft table that doubles as our meeting table. Hangover. He snorts. That's my guess. So, you haven't sent that girl home yet. The shift in topic catches me off guard. Her name's Karen, Drew. And no, she's decorating my loft. Excuses. His eyes narrow slightly. Getting emotionally involved is dangerous, James. I eye him. Considering his feelings about women, if it were his choice, he'd probably push for an abortion and dump Karen. Not everyone lives like a monk, Andrew. So hire a hooker. They know how to be discreet. He avoids looking at me as he says it. I clench my fist against my thigh under the table and take a swallow of the beer instead of replying. Right now, I want to kick his ass so badly I can taste it. How dare he suggest I can swap Karen with a girl from the streets? Deep breaths, dude, I remind myself. In my calmest voice I say, Drew, I'll say this once, and I don't want to hear more about it. Paranoia is helpful in many things. But if you don't stop riding my ass about Karen. Damn. You're in love with her, he snaps accusingly, lips twisted with disgust. You fell for a girl from the vanilla world. Are you nuts? That's a riot coming from you, Drew. Are you jealous? For a moment, he actually looks surprised. No. Cautious. He looks away. We can't afford to bring a Yoko into this state of affairs. First, he decides she's as replaceable as a hooker, and now she's Yoko Ono and we're the Beatles. My temples start to throb. I force myself to stop gnashing my teeth and it lessens. She's not a Yoko. She's a fine woman, and not the type to mess up our partnership. I'm handling it. Your reaction is more concerning to me. He snorts dismissively. You're not being rational. A woman's body makes men crazy. Off, I am going to punch him. I'm not the irrational one here. You haven't met her, and you're already presuming she'll turn us in. I have my reasons. And you're not bothered enough about this. He gets up and walks over, crouching on the chair across the table from me. You really think you can hide our industry from this girl? We can't afford a commitment, you know that. His eyes pierce mine, and I feel my nails grinding into my palm. No, you're clearly suspicious and don't trust women, and I'm sick of being around when you're like this. I scowl at him. Once again, I'm balancing both parts of my life very well. And still, my love life is none of your damn business. Keep your nose out of it. My work and private life cannot separate if my partner won't leave my love life alone, I say in my firmest voice. I will handle Karen. The corners of his near lipless mouth pull down further. Not good enough. I slam my fist on the table and he jumps slightly. Nothing ever is good enough for you, Drew. You keep this up, you'll be looking for a new entry man. His eyes widen. You wouldn't. I've got 10 times the cash I'll ever need my whole life already. You know what the safest, most guaranteed way to avoid jail is? Not stealing anymore. In other words, an early retirement, I smirk. Bet you've never considered that as an option, have you? Dale enters, shuffling out of the rain, trailing a cloud of pot smoke. Hey James, hey Drew? What are you guys fighting about? He's a tall, lean Creole guy with skin, hair and eyes the same rough shade of golden brown, and the youngest of us. He's still shacked up with that girl I told you about, Andrew snaps. The one who ratted her father and boyfriend to the cops. Dale gives me a startled look as he grabs a cola from the fridge. I blink, some of my annoyance ebbing. Wait, what? I finished my research on your Karen, Andrew growls matter-of-factly. She turned her dad into the cops at age 12, and again when she was 18. She also went directly to the police the instant her boyfriend turned violent. For a moment, it worries me. When there's a problem, people who call the police as their first option are hazardous to our health and our freedom. Andrew's dead right. But he doesn't know the complete account. So while you decided these details make her a ticking time bomb, did you notice what those men did that made her call the cops? Seriously, my fist, your face. Any time, buddy. Wait, what did they do? Dale asks, his eyebrows rising as he comes to sit a few chairs away from me. The kid's gullible, but he's got heart and valor by the ton. Andrew explodes. It doesn't matter what they did. The point is, she uses the police when there's trouble. I stand up. It does matter. Her dad beat the stuffing out of her on a regular basis, and then stalked her dormitory. Terry, you know, my cousin the creep? He went after her with a damn knife. I look at Andrew, whose mouth is working as he glares at me. Why wasn't that part of your research? Why don't you look at how far she's been pushed before she has to go to the cops? She's dangerous, James. Andrew's face turns as red as his hair. You're dangerous, Drew. You're using security as an excuse to control our lives and isolate us. Remember when you talked Dale into dumping his girlfriend because she was getting too close to the truth? He subsides, blinking and glancing at Dale, whose face has fallen. What about it? You made him miserable because you didn't like him connecting with women. Now you're trying the same shit on me. You want all of us to be paranoid recluses whose only contact with women is hookers, just like you. I don't have to take this crap from you, he shouts and tries to shadow me. I stare down at him coldly and he hesitates. You're the one spewing shit. Drew, I'm extremely sober. I fold my arms. You can either leave me and Karen alone, or I'll break your face and walk away with my share. He glares at me, his eyes blank, so deep in his unreasonable hostility that he can't even see he's the one messing things up. Suddenly, I'm so sick of it that I'll put him in the hospital if I don't walk away. So I do. I turn around, leave the beer behind, and walk out to the rain. My fists are still clenched at my sides, and when I hear someone running up behind me, I turn at once, ready to fight. Whoa! Dale holds his hands up, and I lower my fist. Dude, are you really leaving? Like for good. I step under the awning and run a hand back through my wet hair. Dale. I know you like it better when we get along, but I won't stand and listen to Andrew lose his shit because I have a girlfriend. He should know by now that I'm not going to risk everything we've built just because there's a woman in my life. He expects us to live with his damn issues, but this time, I can't. It wasn't right for him to make you break up with Sherry, and it's not right for him to rant like this about Karen. Dale leans against the wall and stares at the rain, thoughtfully pressing his lips together. What if Karen calls the cops, though? You can't trust her not to because she loves you. I am not concerned about her rolling over on us, because it would mean rolling over on me. And even if she knows generally that I'm a burglar, what specifics would she know to leak to the cops? It's not like I'll give her names, dates, and heists, even if I tell her anything. My head hurts so badly, my eyes are watering. There's a limit, Dale. If Andrew wants to be miserable, be isolated, trust nobody, and hate women, those are his choices. But he has no business trying to push that on us. Crap, he mutters, running his hand over his scalp. This is real damn thorny. No, man, Andrew's just making it convoluted. It's actually simple. Having girlfriends won't mess up our partnership. Drew's suspicion, however, will do that by itself if he doesn't rein it in. He blinks slowly, his confusion plain. You think so? He's trying to protect us. No, man. He's trying to look after himself while taking advantage of our skills. If he gave a crap about protecting us, he wouldn't be pushing us to take new jobs. I don't know if any of this is getting through to Dale. But the girl, Karen, that's her name, right? He shifts from foot to foot. Dale's the opposite of a jerk, but it's clear what Andrew said is getting to him. Yeah. I watch him carefully. Andrew has talked to him about Karen, and he's naive as a puppy. If she turned her own father in, why not us? I look at him sharply. The only one of us who acts like he wants to hurt her is Andrew. If he goes off the rails and attacks her, all bets are off. Otherwise, no. Crap. How do we calm Andrew down? He pulls a cig from behind his ear and lights it, drawing on it nervously. I don't know, a dart gun full of lithium. That's not fair. Andrew is sick. He's also being a raging asshole and letting his illness call the shots. Most of the time, he's okay. But anytime something goes wrong, a factor he can't predict or control like another person, he gets like this. I accept the cig and take a hit if only to calm down before going back to Karen. I hold the smoke as long as I can, then blow it out to the rain. There has to be a perimeter, or it's time for us to go our separate ways. I don't want that, he says quietly. I'll try and talk to the man. Don't let him mess with your head. I sigh, shoving my hands into my pockets. Just because he doesn't want a normal life outside the business doesn't mean we can't. That's some bull, he determined. He nods, but the vague look in his eyes concerns me. You don't think I should have stopped dating Sherry? I think I messed up by not standing up for you more, Dale, and I'm sorry. I didn't get it then. Now I do. I walk to my car. I know Andrew can't trust me to fix anything with Karen. I hope you trust me more. Yeah, he mumbles. I just worry. Anyway, come back later after you guys have cooled off. We still need to plan the next job. What next job? I think bitterly. Yeah, I will. There's something I need to take care of first. I am coming clean with Karen about everything, and I'll live with the consequences. She's never seen my partners. She doesn't know who they are. I can't expect her to trust me and bear my child, not to mention prove Andrew wrong, if she doesn't know the truth.
Chapter 12. Karen.
James is tense about something the moment he walks in the door. I get up from the couch to help him out of his jacket, ignoring my uncomfortable stomach. Hey, your hair's all wet. Didn't you have an umbrella? He kisses me gently but distractedly. I wanted to feel the rain. That means you're down about something. I pat my hands up and down his damp shirt and look at him worriedly. What's going on? He smiles thinly and hugs me, kissing the top of my head. Every tense gesture makes it seem forced. I have to come clean about some stuff. It won't be an easy conversation, and I'm sorry. I feel my heart pounding out of control, so much that I feel dizzy. He sees my face and grabs my shoulders with his hands. Wait, sweetheart, don't get upset. It's not about you or the relationship. We walk to the couch and take a seat, his arms still around me. I should have told you this sooner before we got so involved. I wanted to show you. I have never seen James seem so hesitant. What is it? I figured it would be easier to hear what I'm going to tell you once we knew each other, and you realized I'm not a bad person, and I treat you well. Something about the uncertainty in his chocolate-colored eyes makes him look younger, even vulnerable. It's endearing, but I'm still tense. But now I'm pregnant and everything's rushed. I try to understand. The way he's struggling, whatever secret he's keeping from me, it's pretty damn big. It's alarming to me, despite his reassurances. He lets out a sigh. Oh well, look. What if I told you that the security company thing is just a side job, and not how I make all this money. I swallow hard. Crap. I've had my suspicions about his erratic work schedule and an enormous amount of free time. It would explain some things, I say carefully. Well, I watch his eyes track around the inside of the loft, the half-dome rainforest mural on one wall, the dim splashes of color from the strips of stained glass that surround each window. I'm a cat burglar, he says at last. I sit, blinking at him. For a few moments, I think he's kidding. Then my brain starts connecting the dots. He's a parkour security specialist who works a few hours a week, but has piles of money and comes from a poor background. A man who won't introduce his business partners, because he doesn't want to expose me to crooks. The more he values someone, the more he falters in telling the truth about himself. The love of my life and the father of my child is a thief. Apparently, a very successful one. I force out, aware he's watching me nervously. How often does this happen? A few times a year. He seems relieved I'm asking for minutiae instead of freaking out. It's better not to give you too many particulars. No, of course not. He swallows. Okay. So you haven't run away screaming. That's good, right? Just give me a minute. I rub my temple to soothe a stabbing pain, and then look at him. Do you plan to keep doing it? My emotions conflict, love, fret, distrust, anger that he didn't tell me sooner, irritation at myself for getting attached and pregnant before I knew. I don't know, he admits after a few moments. I've given serious thought to quitting while I'm ahead. Especially now. Getting caught would affect you and the baby too. I chew my lip, my hands protectively holding my belly. I love you, I say quietly and feel him stiffen. But, he queries after a pause. I know you wouldn't hurt me. But you need connections with others, with other criminals. Are they harmless to be around me? Around our baby? I grip his arm, my tone pleading. Please just reassure me, because this is too fantastical. I won't expose you to that or them. For some reason his expression turns grim, almost angry. I don't want to drag you into that. That's how I make my money, and you deserve to know. So there it is. He shyly glances away. Can I handle this? I reach out and lay my hand on his chest, feeling his heartbeat fast under my palm. James, I start, but I'm cut short by another voice, one so raspy, strange and full of rage, it sends a chill through my body. You told her. We both turn our heads and James jumps, fists balled at his sides. A strange man walks out of the shadowed open door of the bedroom, dripping on the hardwood floor. I catch a glimpse of a dark jacket, wet sprigs of red hair and rigid gray eyes, then the gun in his hand gets all of my attention. I freeze. Damn it, Drew, you crazy guy, you broke into my house and spied on me again? James takes a big step toward the guy, and he shifts the pistol's aim to the middle of James's chest. Watch it, Judas. Give me a reason not to shoot you right now. His eyes have a lack of control I like even less than the gun. James, I cry, my tone dripping with terror. You said I won't deal with this crap. Shut up, tramp, the man snarls, aiming the gun at me. If you hadn't wormed your way into my partner's life, we wouldn't have this problem. I should just shoot you and be done with it. You hurt her and I will make you pay. James takes another step forward, and the skinny man points the gun back at him. I told you not to trust the stupid tramp, didn't I? He starts as I look quickly around. If I go through the kitchen, I can put a wall between this creep and me, and make it most of the way to the door. Don't you call her that? James roars. I bolt. I'm unarmed and sick. I have a baby in my belly, and James's partner has turned out to be an obsessed creep with a gun. Suddenly, his life of crime has gone from dubious to a total deal-breaker. I have to protect myself. I hear a grunt and an impact, and then the clatter of something heavy and metallic. My gun, the guy yells, outraged. Run, Karen, comes James's desperate cry, and I dive through the kitchenette while the two of them struggle, run for the door and yank it open. There's another man with a gun on the other side, a young, light-skinned man with an almost apologetic look. He points the gun at me. I'm sorry, he starts. James said to do anything to protect myself, no matter how guilty I feel about it. I duck aside and slam my body into his arms, knocking the gun against the wall and making him drop it. Screw you, you monster. I yell, and as hard as I can, I bring my knee up and hit him. He goes ashen and falls over, coughing and clutching himself. I bolt down the hall, tears of panic blurring my vision. I keep running, headed for the stairs, knowing I'll get a bullet if I wait for the elevator. Adrenaline burns my veins. I can't do this. His partners are appalling. They pulled guns on me. I clatter down the stairs, hearing muffled shouts behind me. I don't know if James is winning, or if they are. I don't know if they'll run after me. I don't even know if I ever see James again. I'm sobbing uncontrollably as I reach the ground floor. I run through the lobby, ignoring the receptionist calling after me, and blindly race to the streets of New Orleans. All I have is my purse. I'm drenched in seconds. Still weeping, petrified, I keep running, not certain where I'm going.
Chapter 13. James.
You let her get away. Now she'll go to the police. Andrew is yelling, spraying spittle as he scrambles after his gun. I kick it out of his reach and with all my strength, kick him in the teeth. His head snaps back, a startled look in his eyes as strings of blood and shattered teeth fly from his lips. He slams against the wall, bounces off and lands on his face, hitting his head with a satisfying thud. Then he stops moving. What the hell, James? Dale is balled up in the doorway, holding his groin, his face wet with sweat as he pants for air. His pistol is on the ground several feet past him. Did you kill him? Not yet. I pick up Andrew's gun, check it, walk over and point it at Dale's head. He cringes. Tell me why you decided to help him bump off my girlfriend. It wasn't supposed to happen like that, he protests. He wanted to make sure she didn't go to the cops. I stare at him for 3 fast heartbeats, and then punch him in the face. I bellow as he winces and grabs his wounded nose. He came to shoot her, and maybe me. He had you guarding the door, so we couldn't get away. No, wait. He wouldn't do that. Dale trails off, then his eyes widen. Yeah, he would. And he talked you into helping. You bought it because you're a dumbass stoner kid who gets talked into bad shit. I grab him by the collar and pull him upright. Wait, James, please cool off, he begs, watching the gun in my hand with terror. She's carrying my baby, you idiot. I was going to ask her to marry me. I can't remember being this angry in my entire life. You two have messed everything up. She may never trust me again. I'm gripping his collar tighter and tighter. He swallows against my knuckles and gags. James, please? I really didn't know. Please what? Please don't kill you for scaring her away. Please don't kill you for assisting that mistrustful jerk instead of helping me. Explain what thing you're begging my mercy over, you gullible little schmuck. I give him a shake. Please. I'm sorry, give me a chance to make it up to you. He stares at me, scared and stiff. The muzzle of the gun in my hand wavers slightly, then drops. How can you possibly make this right? He looks past me, fear on his face. Then his eyes focus on something behind me. I can help you catch up to your girl before Andrew does, he pipes up. What? I turn, and the spot where Andrew was on the floor is empty. Damn. There's only one car, and I have the keys, he struggles to reassure me. If you let me try, I can search the whole area a lot faster than him or you walking. I gaze at him, sweaty, pleading-eyed, and still anxious. I nod and lower the gun. Let's get moving. It's pouring rain outside. I shove into the passenger seat of Dale's modified caddy and grab my phone, calling Karen. She has the phone in her purse. Come on, I say as the phone rings and rings. Come on. Do you think she'll go to the cops? He asks nervously as he puts the car in gear. I glare at him. I'm more nervous about what Andrew will do if he catches up to her first. Good point. He shudders as we pull away from the curb. As he rounds our block and starts spiraling outward to encompass a larger search area, I try Karen again. Please, baby sweetheart, love, pick up. Nothing. Is she really pregnant? Or were you trying to get my sympathy? His voice is a mix of curious and nervous. Yes, she is pregnant. Keep your eyes on the road and don't distract us. I want to punch him again, but need to focus on finding Karen and intercepting Andrew before he gets to her. Crowds are thin in the rain. I frantically search, looking for curly blonde hair and a blue dress without a jacket. My gut churns like a washing machine as I think of her running through these streets in fear, not knowing where to go, not knowing who is after her. Dale can't keep his damn mouth shut. Seriously, do you think she'll go to the police? No, I don't. But if she did, we would deserve it. Andrew for wanting her dead for no damn reason, you for going along with it, and me for not defending her. My knuckles whiten as I grip the steering wheel. He's quiet as he drives, both of us looking around. Finally, he says softly, "So, you think she would have been okay with the business if Drew hadn't threatened her?" That is exactly what I am saying. He blew everything. Even if he doesn't take her life, I may never see her again. A blonde in the crowd catches my eye, but no, too tall and long-haired. Damn it. James, I'm sorry. He finally gets it. You better be. We keep searching. Every minute or so, I try her phone, praying it isn't out of power, and she eventually notices the calls. Baby, please just pick up. As we drive and scan the alleyways and sidewalk crowds, I wrestle with regrets. I've had week after week of romancing Karen, but I could never bring myself to tell her the whole story. If I had, we could have talked it over and gotten her settled with the idea well before Andrew learned of her presence. If I had, she could have decided about me without the drama of having a baby. If I had. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, I mock myself, my temples throbbing. No point in that now. I made the wrong choice, and now my lady and my child may have to pay for it. I don't get why Drew goes nuts about us dating. Dale is chattering again. I wonder how much pot is in his system. He didn't talk about security risks when you went to visit your family. No, of course not. He doesn't flip out over your stoner buddies either, and I'm sure some shit slips while you're high. I give him an icy look at the next corner, and he swallows. Yeah, thought so. But somehow we're not in jail. And he's not writing you about it either. Why? Because he hates either of us being happy with a woman. He's too messed up about women to manage it. My eyes ache from scanning the streets. Drew's pistol is holstered at my side, and if it comes down to it, I'll stop his bitter ass with a bullet. In fact, I'm tempted to just do it on principle. Okay, now I'm mad at the dude, Dale grumbles, and I roll my eyes. Now you're mad. He had you pulling a gun on a pregnant woman. He also made you break up with your girlfriend on even thinner excuses. He's sick, Dale growls. Yeah, he's mentally ill, but it's not an excuse for much. He abides by his sickness instead of fighting it. He's taking that shit out on the only friends he has, and that's only part of his stimulus. I try the phone again, scanning the street with my eyes as I let it ring. So what's the rest? His tone is ridiculously innocent. I want to smack him. Kid, how did you get into this business? He hates women. He's convinced himself that every woman in the world is like his ex, who probably isn't half the pain he describes her as being. She never tried to roll over on him. I think of my cousin Terry, who is a miniature bungling, spineless version of Drew. Terry, who apparently is out on bail, and whom I owe a beating as well. Why do so many men go bonkers about women? Why do they want the rest of us to join, or do they just figure we'll support them? I swear to God, I growl. Even if we get out of this with no one dying or going to jail, I'm done. I can't trust either of you to have my back after the shit you pulled. His face falls. Oh man, James, I really am sorry. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. I told you it would happen like this. I told you a few hours ago. You listened to Andrew instead, and an innocent pregnant woman may die as a result. Screw you, Dale. I stare rigidly out the window. Baby, where are you? What about the money? He whines. You can't just walk away. We have enough money. Also, some things are more significant than others. Now that Karen is in danger, my priorities are crystal clear. We've picked up $20 million apiece last year alone, and I would give every dime away to have her back safely. He's quiet for a long while as we drive, probing and searching. We've covered 10 blocks so far. She must be hiding somewhere, he verbalizes. I try the phone again. Nothing. Whoa! The car jolts to a stop, and the phone almost flies out of my hands. I just saw someone jump from the rooftops in that alleyway. He points to the nearest alley. What direction? He gestures. It has to be Andrew. I burst out of the car, shoving the phone in my pocket as I raced into the alley. It's possible Andrew has lost her too, he's just searching. Except he wouldn't take to the rooftops, unless he wanted to get somewhere fast, on foot. And this means he knows where he's going. And that means he somehow knows where she is. Did he slip a tracker in her purse the last time he broke in? Or a bug? Is that why he knew what I said, and knew where to find her? It doesn't matter. I'm on him now. Andrew's good at parkour, especially with his gadgets. I'm better, I don't need them. I jumble up the fire escape, and get to the roof. Looking around, I see a figure jumping an alleyway up ahead. He's wearing a familiar dark jacket, and his hair gleams like an ember in the thin daylight. I bolt for him, leaping the first alleyway and clearing it easily. I don't even break stride, as my boots hit the asphalt roof beyond. He's still and doesn't see me yet. He's preoccupied with peering over the edge of the building with a pair of binoculars. Then I see him disappear over the edge. He's found her. I put everything I have into getting there first.
Chapter 14. Karen.
Someone keeps buzzing my phone, but I can't stop to look. That red-haired creep may have lost his gun and a tooth or two, but he's on me no matter how fast I run or where I hide. I've barely dodged him twice. I don't know how he keeps finding me, but it panics me so much I can barely think. Is it him on the phone, or a frantic James? James? You told me to run while you fought them, and I'm sure you tried your best. Where are you now? I hear a clang above me, and look up to see the same crazy woman-hating creep descending on me, via a repelling line with a big hunting knife in his hand. I've got you. Thinking quickly, I give him a shove before touches down. He lets out an outraged howl, and smacks against the fire escape. The line gets tangled around the ladder, leaving him awkwardly dangling a foot above the ground. What? He yells and immediately starts sawing at the tough line with his knife. Get someplace public. Hiding in alleys and building lobbies isn't working. I bolt for the brightly lit cafe across the boulevard. What's he going to do? Knife me to death in front of a security camera and witnesses? I'll kill you, he yells after me hoarsely. Damn, maybe he will. He's just like my dad and Terry. Get in line, psycho. I call back mockingly, as I run as fast as I can. Never let them see you sweat, but never let them get too close either. I hear a grunt, the line snapping, and the thud of his boots on the ground. Then I hear him tearing after me. Damn! A clang sounds high above me, and my blood goes cold. His accomplice? I look up, just as James bounds off the alley wall and lands between me and his charging partner. Oh, thank God. Keep running. Get to the cafe. He won't do anything in front of security cameras, he calls out as he readies himself for the charging redhead. I start to obey, but the bone-jarring thud of them squaring off makes me duck behind a dumpster for cover instead. I poke my head out for a look. The two are in an all-out brawl. James stands like a wall between my attacker and me while the other man snarls and lunges and tries to get past him, lashing out with his knife. However, every time he gets too close, he pays for it. First, he nearly loses the knife. He then reels back, holding his face. Then the knife goes clattering across the asphalt. Stop defending her, you damn Judas. She's going to rat us all out. There's rage in the man's voice, rage and something else. Panic. But he's not the only one who's upset. I'll kill you before you touch her. James's voice shakes with fury and conviction. Again, the guy tries to pass him to get at me and gets a knee in the gut for his attempt. So this is it, huh, Judas? He pants at James as he staggers back again, holding himself. You pick a tramp over your partners and betray us. I haven't betrayed anyone, you idiot. I never even brought you up. You created all of this. James doesn't just sound angry. There's an incredulous note in his voice, as if he can't believe someone he works with is acting like this. I'm not going to jail because of your girlfriend, the guy roars, eyes wide and spittle gathered at the corners of his mouth. Why did you attack me? I demand, suddenly enraged as well. I notice a length of broken board leaning against the dumpster and grab it, stepping out. I didn't even know you existed until you tried to kill me. Shut up, tramp. You know you would have gone to the cops. He tries for me again and again. James drives him back, this time with a series of hard blows that leave him doubled and staggering. And yet he's still trying. I told you to run for the cafe, James admonishes. I'm not involving more people in our problems. Besides, he would probably attack me in public. I heft the board and step out. Inside, I'm terrified but also pissed, and I reached my limit with bullying and woman haters a long time ago. And James is here, and he won't let anything bad happen to me. What do you think you're gonna do with that, little girl? Andrew mocks me. I think my man and I are going to beat the crap out of you, I reply as I slowly walk forward. James sees the look on my face and smirks, stepping aside from me. The smirk falls off the other guy's face in incomprehension. You don't fight back. You run to the cops, like you did with your dad. My dad was attacking a 12-year-old girl a third his size, asshole, I snarl as James and I advance on the guy. He scuttles backward, looking between us nervously. It's not like I could hit him back. And since my personal business is somehow your business, I'll tell you the rest. He beat me from the age of 3, until I went to the cops to make it stop. Because nobody else intervened and I was too small to defend myself. Anger is replacing my fear fast. He went to jail. And because he was obsessed, like you, when he got out, the first thing that he did was try to visit me in my school. With handcuffs, pepper spray, and a knife. I stare at the skinny man in disgust. I didn't even call the cops that time. He got into a fight with a security guard. He called them. Why am I explaining all of this? And your boyfriend, he demands. Where did he get all his information? James? No, he must have done some kind of background check. If you're talking about Terry, yeah, I got a restraining order against him. He decided to violate it by trying to kill me. They let him out on bail, which is part of the reason I imposed on James. I'm not calling the cops on you because they might tie you to James, and I don't want problems because of you. I'm also not calling the cops because they and the legal system are useless when it comes to protecting people. I take a step toward him and he backs off more. I don't need them anymore. Not for a crazy weasel like you. I'm not crazy, he yells, purpling. And he lunges. James winks at me and gives me room, and I swing the board with all my strength at the blindly charging man. Bam! Good shot, he calls proudly as the board shatters against the guy's chin and sends him staggering backward. My fear is gone. Standing there with my arms tingling from the impact, I wonder where it went. But then I see it, in the eyes of my attacker as he holds his bloody chin and stares at me. You got too paranoid, Drew, James says almost sadly. It's way beyond cautious. And your women's issues are messing up friendships and work. You need to get help. How can you trust her over me? We've known each other for 10 years, he protests, staring at James as he tries to staunch the flow of blood from his nose. She's never tried to kill someone I love, he says. And besides, she's gone through more things than you, but she's stable, stronger, and kinder. She's also carrying my child, whom you tried to kill along with her. The confidence in his voice banishes the last of my fright. James, I think, staring at him in awe. He glances at me, eyebrows rising. She's pregnant? Yeah. Because you're that far gone, you almost hurt a pregnant woman for no reason. You almost engineered your own arrest by trying to chase her down with a knife. Are you proud of that, Drew? Is that really who you want to be? James has his hand near the gun on his belt. I can see it with his jacket pushed aside. The shock finally gets through to him. He blinks rapidly and shakes his head as if coming out of a bad dream. No, he says in a much quieter voice. In spite of all the fear, drama, and anger, I feel a stab of pity for Andrew, who suddenly has a lost look on his face. She wasn't going to say anything to no one. None of this was necessary. It only happened because you let your baggage get the better of you. James's voice is lower now, too. The slow realization of what he's been doing dawned in Andrew's expression. He looks around, then lowers his hands. What do you expect me to do? James lets out a bitter laugh and shakes his head. Leave, he says. Take your share, take your crap, and leave. You're a multi-millionaire. You can afford a doctor, and a move to another state. And if I refuse, he challenges with his last bit of salt. If you ever bother us again, you don't have to worry about what James will do, I say in a steady voice. I'll shoot you myself. I don't know if it's baloney, but it works. He blinks rapidly, then pulls himself upright. Fair enough, he mutters, wiping the blood off his face. And he's gone, walking down the alley, hands shoved in his pockets, not even asking for his gun or retrieving his knife. He glances back at us once as he reaches the alley entrance, blends in with the passing crowd, and vanishes. James huffs a sigh next to me and lowers the gun, turning to me. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Are you all right? I drop the broken board and let him gather me into his arms as I cling to him. No, but I'm getting there. We've got a lot to discuss, though. Let's go home, he says. I'll take care of you and make this right, I promise. I lick my lips, a little nervous about returning to the loft after what happened. Okay, but I need you to do something to make me feel safer when we get home. He hugs me tight, kissing the top of my head. What is it? My smile goes a little lopsided. Grease the balcony and rooftop railings. If that guy tries to break in, I want him to get a nasty surprise. He lets out a laugh and cuddles me. Anything you want, sweetheart.
Chapter 15. Karen.
Thanks for helping with the turkey, I tell Samantha as we sit at the loft's timber table. It's Thanksgiving again, and this year I have a lot more to be thankful for. No problem, sis. How's my nephew? Her voice goes high at the end, as she addresses the occupant of the baby seat next to me. He responds by cooing and waving his tiny fists, wide chocolate brown eyes staring at her in delight. Jimmy's fine. He had his 3-month checkup last week. Our son is healthy and happy, and we're not doing badly ourselves. It's been a heck of a year. James actually has started a security company in one of the downstairs offices, which he works at part-time while spending the rest with us. I work out of the loft, half days as well, a handful of clients for now. Technically, neither of us needs to work. James has more cash than we could spend in our lifetime. But doing so keeps us from getting awkward questions about where the money comes from. And it also means most of that money will be there when we actually retire. Right now, most of our life is centered on each other and our son. New Orleans is as beautiful and welcoming as it was a year ago. I haven't been to New York in months. Once I testified at Terry's trial, I was done. Terry got 15 years for assault with a deadly weapon, simple assault, and repeated violation of a protection order. The whole trial, he and his mother glared at me like I should be on trial. When I testified about the knife, Terry sulked, and his mother burst into tears. I haven't heard from them since the trial. Now and again, I get some mail forwarded from my old address. 2 days ago, it included a card from my mother. Signed but no note. I don't know if she's finally realized what my sister and I went through now that she is trapped in a house with 3 men who beat up the women they're supposed to love. Maybe somehow she's found out she's a grandmother. It could be anything, but I'm not bothered. Just because she reaches out doesn't mean I have to respond the way she wants. But I might, eventually. If I could forgive someone like Andrew, I would consider giving my mother another chance. She was a coward who didn't defend us, but she was a victim too. Are you guys still okay with my bringing the wife and kids for Christmas? Samantha asks as she starts passing the salad around. Oh yeah, the more the merrier, James says optimistically. He and Samantha have become friends very quickly, which makes me happy. Tentative card giving or not, she's the only family I have besides my husband and baby. Goody. I want to introduce the kids to their cousin. She sits down on Jimmy's other side and starts making silly faces for him while he squeals and wiggles. Hey, could someone pass the butter? Dale asks at the other end of the table. He's here with his girlfriend Sherry, a cute Belizean girl with enviable dreadlocks and a bubbly laugh. It took a while to settle our differences. With work behind them, my husband and his former partner can be friends. As for his pointing a gun at me and my racking him, we called it even. James and I have practiced self-defense since I mended from birth. I've also gone shooting with him. Having him instructing me on protecting myself makes me feel safe even when he's 1,000 miles away. Ironically, Andrew left for Los Angeles a week or so after our confrontation. I must admit, I sighed with relief when I learned he left the state. Dale and James still get emails from him, encrypted of course. Apparently, he's getting treatment for whatever his ex-wife did to him. I hope it helps, but I'm glad he's gone. His illness may have put the idea of harming me in his head, but he followed it of his own free will. I can only forgive so much. So what's everyone thankful for this year? Samantha asks. We didn't even follow this tradition last year, because of Terry and his mother's habitual whining, and his father's silence. But this year, things are different. Many things. I'm thankful for everything, I say with a smile. My life, my new home, my son, my darling husband, my sister. And most of all, the chance to escape my past and push through to an improved future.
The end. Sneak peek for The Biker's Girl. We hope you enjoyed listening to Thankful by Michelle Love. Now please listen to a sneak peek for The Biker's Girl by Michelle Love and Lily Diamond. The Biker's Girl, a Bad Boy Romance Audiobook. Chapter 1. Kitty.
It's close to midnight when I make my way up the steps to the Martin farmhouse's pillared wraparound porch. I'm bundled up against the unseasonable cold. The nights have started dipping below freezing already, and it's only November. It worries me, for a lot of reasons. But right now, those worries are far from my mind, and I'm trying not to laugh as I approach the door. I knock on the door and then glance around, smiling. My neighbor down the road has 6 acres in a long tree-edged strip that runs back up into the hills. She's a military widow from New York City who decided to retire to the countryside, only to discover that we have our own challenges out here. Mrs. Annabeth Martin is the kind of sweet old Christian lady who would give you the clothes off her back if she wasn't worried about modesty. She's easily scandalized, tends to pass judgment on people quickly, and is a strange mix of paranoid and naive. I try to be a good neighbor to her, but I always hide the pot and booze before she comes over. My breath steams past my scarf as I wait for the shuffling footsteps that have started up on the other side of the door. I busy myself by looking around and hoping that I'm wrong about what I suspect I'm going to see when I get inside. The chuckle that sneaks out of me is half ironic. Annabeth called me apologetically about a friendly stray dog she took in tonight, who turned out to be destructive and not at all housebroken. Since I'm the local vet and run a private animal shelter, I'm the only person in 50 miles that she could turn to. So I only grumbled a little on the way over. She has 2 sons who come up from the city on weekends to help look after things, but the land's still looking pretty scruffy. No one has raked the black walnuts off the drive in weeks. The green rinds with their black innards have been torn open by squirrels and left scattered everywhere. The front lawn is adrift with dead leaves. I turn back to the door as the footsteps get closer and hear the bolt clack as it's thrown. The inner door opens partway, and through the storm door I see a puffy-haired Annabeth in a fluffy pink robe and big gold cross necklace. She beams as she sees me and hurriedly lets me in. "Come in, dear, come in. He's right in here. Watch your step." She has spread out newspaper on the floor, and I pick my way down the hall as it rustles underfoot. "So where did you find this dog?" She leads me down her hallway into the kitchen, stopping by the closed door. "Well, he's been coming around begging since the late summer. He doesn't have a collar, so I thought maybe I could win him over and see if he wanted to become my new dog." It got so cold tonight that when he cried at the door, I let him come running in to warm up, and he seemed to want to stay. But he's really a handful. He eats a lot, tries to break into the cabinets, jumps up on the table, pees where he pleases, and chews things. It's like he's never lived with a family at all. Not to mention that Mittens is terrified of him. Oh boy. I am now 80% certain about what, and who, is hanging out in Annabeth's kitchen. Apparently, nobody warned her about one of our neighborhood characters. Alright, well, let's take a look at him and see what we're dealing with. The musky smell of something a lot stronger than dog urine hits me as I walk into the kitchen, and I'm careful to watch my step. The culprit, looking fat and very proud of himself, is sitting on the breakfast nook table, panting and grinning. I fold my arms and scowl at him, though I can barely keep from laughing. Annabeth, sweetie? I say as the beast on the table squints happily and chuffs at me. That's not a dog. What do you mean he's not a dog? Isn't he one of those African dogs that don't bark? She sounds genuinely baffled. No, I'm sorry. You see, this is Randy. And he's definitely not a Basenji. I eye Randy as he gives me a saucy look, and then starts wagging his tail exactly like a damn dog. No idea where he learned that trick, but it, along with his relative friendliness toward humans, apparently got his paw in the door over here. Well, what is he then? He plays, he doesn't bite us, he loves the food we give him. Poor Annabeth is looking at me like I have sprouted another head. I sigh. Annabeth, I'm gonna suggest that you open the back door and let him out. I'm sure he'd be happy to winter with you and have you feed him. And no, he's not gonna bite you, at least not until he's on the couch and you want him to move or he gets too excited while you're playing. But it's so cold. Will he be okay? I'm dying here. I'm literally leaving my body as we speak. I shoot a glare at Randy and swear he's laughing at me. He'll be fine, I promise. He'll catch up with his pack and they'll winter down in the foothills. My neighbor goes very still. She looks over at him and hesitantly asks, Pack? Randy is a coyote, Annabeth. A spoiled, lazy, sneaky little poop of a coyote who has discovered that if he acts like a cute doggy, humans will feed him. I eye Randy up and down, seeing that he's at least 5 pounds overweight and has a thick, glossy winter pelt. It's a pretty damn good ploy, actually. Randy just grins at me. A coyote. She stares in amazement. But he's so friendly. Yeah, he is. Humans have food and have a huge soft spot for cute and friendly mammals, and he's figured that out. But look, Annabeth, even if he has discovered humans are easy marks, Randy's a wild animal. He will use your entire house as a toilet, and he will eat your cat. Oh no, not Mittens. She covers her mouth with her hands, eyes wide with horror. I nod gravely, satisfied that she'll think twice before taking in any more homeless dogs. Good thing too, because next time, I'll probably come in here to see if her new pet has antlers. Annabeth really is a city girl through and through. I arch an eyebrow at Randy, who chuffs again and wags his tail. Forget it, man, nobody here's buying it anymore. His tail lowers and he yaps at me in irritation, but there's still an edge of smugness to it. Shithead. Cute though. I'm on my way back to my truck a few minutes later, having calmed my embarrassed neighbor and left her with a bottle of enzyme cleaner. Randy is sitting on the hood of my truck when I reach it, panting and grinning at me. Fattening up for winter on the old lady's dime, huh? You big mooch. I can hear the high howls of the other coyotes echoing along the upper slopes. They've caught his scent and are probably wondering where he was all night. I keep clear of biting range as I walk around to the driver's side door. Go on already, go find your pack. They're gonna be pissed you didn't share all your snacks. He sneezes, then jumps off as I open the door. But instead of running off, his ears prick up suddenly, and he looks down the road. I frown and turn on my headlights, just in time to see a feral cat scramble across the road, maybe 30 yards away, with a dead rat in her jaws. Her belly hangs loose enough to flap, she's still nursing. Damn it! Another late litter. Normally, I wouldn't have to worry too much, as local autumn kittens would typically be weaned, and have a fighting chance by the time things started freezing over. Not to mention, I'd normally have 3 more weeks to put together the insulated shelters I distribute around the area for the strays every year. This time, though, there's been no such luck. And as I grab my flashlight and start tracking the feral through the woods, I feel my worry growing. I'm the shy type. Most of my friends growing up had 4 legs, and that's still the case now. That's why I got my veterinary degree, why I sunk so much of my inheritance into the private shelter, and why I get pretty upset at the thought of frozen kittens. I take photos as I go, so I can find the cat's nesting spot again once I return with supplies. Finally, I spot the kitty climbing up a dead tree, disappearing into a big hollow about 10 feet up. She's picked a good spot. The trunk's thick enough to insulate and protect her babies. But there are a lot of abandoned and feral cats out here who either won't be as used to the outdoors, or who won't be as lucky in finding a good spot. Deciding to bring some food and insulating bedding scraps for Queen Kitty tomorrow, I take a photo of the tree and then turn to go home. This is a problem that I am going to need some serious help with it. Finding feral litters, sheltering and feeding those we can't relocate to my shelter, distributing the shelter boxes, and doing it all in under a week. Covering miles of road and over 100 acres. My heart sinks. Normally, I can get all this done with no problem. My work hours are low even with the shelter to run and the veterinary needs of the valley to take care of. But with my normal workload, the upcoming holidays, the kittens and socialized ex-ferals already in the shelter, and with freezing temperatures arriving 3 weeks early, maybe I can hire some emergency help. It's not like I don't have the cash. People around here don't know that I'm working, not because I have to, but because I love what I do. I actually inherited more money than I know what to do with, but I just don't feel right not contributing to my community. Call it my Yankee work ethic. As I'm driving up the road, I see the coyotes flood across the lane behind me, with Randy's fat butt leading the way. Nice to see he's back with his family, but they need to go back up their hillside now. There's another reason to fear for the cats and their kittens. The cold is driving the coyotes downhill too damn soon. Yeah. I have to fix this. My house is just up the road. I only drove my truck because it had a big kennel in the back, and my dog catching gear. But I'm not going home yet. I pass the small stone farmhouse and the sprawling barn beyond it, which houses the clinic and shelter. I drive right past my own driveway, headed for my neighbors down the hill on the other side. The ravens will still be up. They don't roll up their welcome mat until 3. Jake and the guys owe me, and I'm sure they wouldn't say no to making some extra cash. Annabeth would freak out if she knew I was going to the local biker gang and resident pot growers for help. She has this image in her head of what it means to be a biker, and she can't shake the idea that they're all dangerous men instead of the tough but friendly guys they actually are. But they have never caused me problems, and since I'm the one they go to when their dogs get sick or have puppies, we have a pretty good relationship. I hope it's good enough. There's an acre-wide strip of trees acting as a buffer between their land and mine, which is home to a lot of wildlife. Beyond it, their high hedges mask their property from the road, but I can see the glow of the house lights through them now that the branches are bare for winter. My stomach flutters a little as I pull into their gravel driveway and the dusty lot beyond. I hope Jake is home. Big Jake Steele is half the reason I make excuses to come visit. He's the hottest man I have ever seen in my life. Huge, burly, a wild man in leathers with shaggy black hair and a brutally handsome face with intense green eyes. He has a gravelly voice that turns into a slightly awkward purr when he is trying to be less intimidating, and the way his butt looks in his jeans makes it impossible not to stare. Of course, I've never done a thing about it. But a girl can look, and a girl can dream. I see his huge shape fill the doorway of the house as I park my truck, and my stomach flutters even harder, but I smile even more.
Chapter 2. Jake.
I'm on the couch polishing off my second beer and third coffee when my right-hand man, Maury, comes in and tells me that Kitty is pulling into the parking lot. A smile breaks over my face, some of my exhaustion lifting off of me like a weight. I'll go meet her. You guys keep feeding the dogs. Dad has been having a rough night tonight. Nightmares. I took care of him until he felt well enough to want privacy, leaving him with 2 of the dogs and his bong. But it wore me out, and I was feeling pretty down right up to the moment I heard Kitty was here. Some of us come back from our time as soldiers with little scars, and some with big ones. Some of them are on the outside for everyone to see, but some, like my dad's, are mostly within. I got my Purple Heart for taking IED shrapnel, and have some scars on my leg and a little limp. My dad never feels safe, and screams himself awake sometimes. The open road, our club, the pot we grow and smoke, the friends we make on the road and off and each other, that's what we have to heal us. It works pretty well, that and Dad's dogs. I throw on my jacket on the way out the door, and look out to see Kitty's truck headlights splashed across my front yard. She cuts them off and gets out, then heads for me, waving. I grin and raise a hand. Evening. Hi there, she calls up, and I try to fight my smile down, but the sight of her warms me. She's small, sweet-faced, and very curvy, with a dynamite rack that even layers of clothing can't hide. She's got fluffy, curly hair the color of honey, eyes nearly the exact same shade, and a smile that's contagious. It's pretty rare for me to meet someone that I want to hang out with all the time, cuddle silly, and unconscious all at the same time. Usually, I just want to do 1 or 2 of the 3 when I meet a lady, but Kitty is special. Too bad that if I proposed the intimacy part, I'd probably scare her off. She's sweet, shy, and tiny. I'm roughly the size of a truck, hung to match and keep company with ex-convicts. I know she knows I would never hurt her, but the logistics alone would take some work to overcome. I hate being stuck just watching and wanting, but the fact that she's an awesome friend eases that frustration a bit. She gets along with everyone, we trade favors all the time, and my dad loves her because she takes care of his dogs for him. Lately, I can't even finish with a woman unless I think about Kitty. She smiles up at me, and it warms me on this cold night, even as I stand in front of her with my jacket open. Hey, do you have a few minutes, or is this a bad time? No worries, sweetheart. Come on up, I've got a beer with your name on it. I step back, holding the door open for her as she bounces up the stairs. Immediately, happy barking starts up in the back of the house, and the whole pack scrambles toward the door at once. They know her and love her. Some women become crazy cat ladies. My dad calls himself a crazy dog guy. We laugh over it. But these rescue dogs, mostly pit bulls we saved from a fighting ring, give Dad a reason to get out of bed when he's having a rough time. I do whatever it takes to help him. The crash that disabled him and left me in charge of the bike club also made his PTSD worse. So early last year, when he told me being around dogs helped his mood, we went looking for a puppy for him. Now the compound has 7. 4 brindle and white pits, a Rottie, a husky Tibetan Mastiff mix named Chewbacca, and Laughing Boy, a coyote dog hybrid whose dad Randy keeps visiting the neighborhood. They crowd around us, their tails wagging uncontrollably as I lead Kitty inside. Hi boys. Hi Maggie. Her voice is bright as they press in to get their hugs. I kind of wish I could line up with them and get a hug too. It really is a bunch of guys in this household, even the dogs. The whole crew is a sausage fest except for Maggie Grew, the oldest pit bull and mother to the others. Just sort of worked out that way. Kitty disappears halfway into Chewbacca's russet fur as she hugs him, and he pants happily. Damn, she's adorable. And her nice round butt looks great in those jeans too. Like me, she likes to wind down with a coffee and a beer in each hand on cold nights. I pour her a mug, pull a long neck out of the fridge, and then come back into the living room to find her on one of the big blanket-covered couches that line the room. Chewy has his head in her lap, and she's already got a grooming brush in her hand. So what can I do for you, sweetheart? I ask as I flop onto the couch Kitty cornered to hers. 2 of the pits, Bo and Maggie, hop onto the couch next to me, and the others settle around our feet. I need your help, you and the guys. You know the cold season has come early. That's big trouble for the local feral cats, and I have to prepare for winter 3 weeks early, and as fast as possible. Her face is serious as she works on the endless task of combing out Chewy's fur. Yeah, I noticed the coyotes are passing through the neighborhood early. The cold's driving all their prey downhill. I frown as I set her drinks on the coffee table in front of her and set the bottle of chocolate syrup within reach. You seen Randy around? She snorts and reaches for the coffee first, setting aside the brush for a bit. She squirts syrup into her mug and stirs it as she talks. Yeah. He's fine. He conned Annabeth into thinking he was a stray dog. She's been feeding him on her porch for weeks, on top of his hunting with his pack. He looks like a sausage in a fur coat now. I let out a bark of laughter, imagining it. That damn coyote is hilarious, but he's also a menace. If he can't eat your pet or livestock, then he tries to eat their food, and when he's done with their food, he tries to mate with them. The result is a local coy dog problem that gave the little mischief his name and led to Kitty offering free spay-neuter procedures for local pets. Laffy, who knows the word Randy, keeps pricking up his ears as we talk. He was part of a half-German shepherd litter of 6. Kitty takes an experimental sip of her makeshift mocha, and then a larger swallow. The last few years, even with the spay and release program for the feral cats, we've had at least 10 litters every autumn in the woods around here. A few of the queens will be smart in their choice of nests, and will just need some help with food, but some will need to be completely relocated. I nod, frowning a little. It's a busy time for us. We've just got the autumn pot crop in, and the whole thing is drying under the greenhouse tents. But I know I can't say no to her. Besides, if enough of the boys help out, we can handle the whole mess in a few days. After that, she'll need help socializing with the kittens, which hardly works at all. 10 litters. And you've got room for them? I lift an eyebrow. I don't know how she gets as much done in that shelter as she does. She must have either a pile of money I don't know about, or some kind of magic. She has a website, volunteers, and people doing adoption days for her in cities and towns up and down the coast. And she just expanded her facilities again last year. Oh yeah, unless it's like 10 litters of 12 or something. Then I might have a problem. She gives a little nervous laugh. Chewy whines at her, desperate to regain her attention, and she goes back to brushing him. I know I can get some of the guys to help out. We have to have at least 4 of us dealing with the curing process, but that leaves 6 guys to help you out. 7, I heard my dad's voice in the doorway, sounding tired but determined. We look up to see him walking in with his cane, his grizzled face looking calm but focused. Dad and I resemble each other so closely that I pretty much know what I'm going to look like in about 25 years. Little grayer, little jollier. Only the cane gives him any real appearance of being old. So what's going on? He asks, limping over and plopping into his overstuffed chair across from the couch I'm perched on. He has his bong in his grip and loads it from an Altoids tin while he listens to her explanation. Kitten season, she starts and goes back over what she told me. He nods along, then takes a long hit and holds it before passing her the bong. She hesitates before taking a hit. Annabeth would be shocked to see me smoking like this. Annabeth shocks too easily. This would help her plenty with her arthritis. And besides, it's been legal for years now, I say, noticing Dad shoot me a look to tell me to shut up about the old church lady. He's got a soft spot in his head for war widows, and it's not like Annabeth isn't a nice person. But the truth is, she's called the police on us 20 times in just the last year, and all for dumb reasons. Guns we don't own, drugs we don't run, suspicious people, noise complaints about our motorcycles in the middle of the afternoon. The cops are sick of her, but they can't really explain to their boss why the local, wealthy, innocent war widow keeps calling in a panic if nothing is going on. She does shock too easily, and she prejudges people. But I can manage her. I'll just get permission to search her acres myself. She owes me a favor now. She shoots my dad a placating look, and he nods with a faint smile. Anyway, the point is, you'll have plenty of help, I'm confident and promising. When will you need us? She flashes me that heartwarming smile again, eyes full of relief. Mid-afternoon tomorrow would be great, or the next day if you have trouble pulling things together on time. I nod, and revel in that smile, and in how she's looking at me. It makes a guy a little too hopeful. But I'll manage. I always do. We'll be there tomorrow. No sweat. Now how about you pass me that bong, and we'll make plans.
Chapter 3. Kitty.
The next day, the weather is a little warmer, But the freeze has already taken its toll. Plants are withering and sagging, their colors going dull as they transform from living things to standing mulch. My heart sinks as I load up my truck with a mix of traps, insulated shelters, bedding scraps, and food. The sight of the mess reminds me again of how little time we have. I know the ecosystem around here pretty well. I'm not a full-fledged naturalist, but since I'm looking for lost and feral animals in the nearby wilderness, I decided to educate myself long ago. That plus experience has taught me that once the cold sets in enough for the plants to wither, the prey animals dig in or migrate. That meant 3 fewer weeks for the feral mothers to fatten for winter and wean their kids to do the same. It also means that the other predators will be hungrier. Coyote packs eat cats, and certainly they eat kittens. A bear stuffing its face for hibernation will be under even more pressure now, and will, if hungry enough, eat the cats, the kittens, and even the coyotes. In late fall and early winter, nature around here truly turns red in tooth and claw. And then everything freezes. I'm just glad that Jake and the guys are going to help me. I need it so badly. And the cats do too, though of course no cat ever would admit they needed some human's help if they could admit anything at all. Once everything is loaded up, I tarp and tie the whole stack against the rain that's threatening, and slip inside to start up the truck and get on the radio that the guys use to communicate. The moment I turn it on, I hear the ravens chattering on their helmet mics. "Hey guys, this is Kitty signing on." "Hey sweetheart," purrs Jake, his voice in my ear, making my toes curl so hard inside my boots that they crack. "So, we're parceling out the 7 plots of land you pointed out, while you search yours and the church ladies." "Watch that kid," Jake's dad grumbles, and I fight back a laugh. He has a crush on Annabeth. I, for one, think they would make a great couple. They're about the same age, he's a vet, and she already knows about living with someone with PTSD. But she's the one who mistakes coyotes for dogs and war vets for criminals. I'm not sure how we can get her past that. It's a cute idea to contemplate, though. But if I'm thinking about improbable acts of Cupid, well, I'd rather start with me and Jake, even if that is a little selfish. He's wonderful, though. I don't care that he and the guys were selling illicit substances well before it was legal, or that they sometimes get into bar brawls. They're good people. He's a good person. And sometimes when he looks at me, I forget for a little while that I'm shy and have the history of the average nun. Sometimes I wish I'd end my nights crushed under him, feeling things I've never felt before while he groans in my ear. I shake myself out of it after a few dreamy moments. We're parceling them out, yeah, but we'll have to do them 2 at a time. We'll sweep northward along the road from town, all the way up to the winter snow line. The cats won't go up above there, that's bear territory. It gets easier to give out instructions as I go. The words detach from my throat and some of my shyness dissipates. Each team will plot on opposite sides of the road. We'll skip over my land and Annabeth's, and continue up the road on the other side once we get there. If you find cats, you mark the spot and call me there. I'll check it out and figure out how to proceed from there. Ferals don't go far from the road. If they ever lived with humans, then they like to stick by us. If they don't, roadkill and the rats, mice, and squirrels that our gardens attract are usually the cat's main prey. Early in my rescue, I would hike miles away from the road searching, but I never saw any signs of cats. I'd only ever find a lost dog or two, some curious bears, and Randy, who would follow me for miles for treats and attention, even though he'd only get his way sometimes. So now I concentrate on looking closer to civilization. How mean are these cats gonna be? Jake asks, and I sigh, sitting back and thinking about it. It really depends. No queen cat is going to like strangers around her kittens. But if she was dumped out here after she got pregnant, she should be pretty desperate to get indoors and will trust humans more. If she was born out here, she'll be wary at best and fight like the devil to protect her kittens. I'm not kidding. I have scars from desperate queens who only figured out days later, once they and their kittens were well fed, warm, and safe, that I never meant them harm. Let's just say that it's good that all you guys like wearing leather anyway. The guys laugh and make a few rowdy comments. I laugh too. I'm not very good at being a lady, and I don't ever bother around them because that's not what they expect. It's not even what they're comfortable with. I'll just have to dial it back when I talk to Annabeth about searching her land. Raunchiness upsets her. Everything upsets her. I wish that I could find a way to get through to her about how unnecessary that all is, but she lives in a very black and white world. Sometimes I worry that I'll make one single misstep, she'll overreact and she'll start calling the police to my house as well. But then things like the mishap with Randy will happen, and I'm reminded that she's mostly just a slightly dotty but sweet old woman. While I wait for the first call to come in, I prep another of the cat shelters. They are wooden boxes roughly the size of a plastic tote that I've waterproofed, lined with insulation, and put in smallish, high entrances. The design sheds snow and rain, and is tough enough to discourage predators. It has bolts screwed into it for anchoring the shelter, either on the ground or in the crotch of a well-developed tree. I stuff several handfuls of straw into it for even more insulation. The wooden shelters are popular, and not just with cats. Checking them weekly through to early spring, I found foxes, badgers, owls, a nesting pair of ravens, squirrels, mice, rabbits, and Randy. Twice. 20 minutes into the search, the radio crackles. Think I've got one on the edge of town, Jake mutters. I get on the radio at once. Okay, I'm rolling. How far from the road? Not even a block. It's on the plot where they had the gas station fire. Think she's sheltering in an old oil drum. My face falls as I lock up and start the engine. Those things have no insulation and are full of toxic crap. I'm on my way. I focus on the drive down the hill toward town, which becomes visible once I go around a slight bend. I can see the lot in question, still slightly charred, every bit of bare ground thick with dead weeds. I park near Jake's motorcycle and look around. Jake is sitting back on his heels on one corner of the shattered blacktop near a scorched stack of oil drums. His hair licks at his shoulders like a black flame in the wind, and I have to pause and just stare at him. Beautiful man, I think as I allow myself to look my fill for once on the way over. What have you got? I ask when I'm about 2/3 of the way across the lot. He looks back over his shoulder and puts a gloved finger to his lips in response. I close my mouth and slow down, looking cautiously past him. A fluffy gray tail drifts back and forth near his boot. I peek around his other side and see a thin young, long-haired cat with a loose belly rubbing herself against his hand. Well, I'll be damned. I got close and she just came right over. Indeed, she had, and now she was purring audibly and clinging to his ankle. Someone must have dumped her here. Poor baby. I crouch down with him, and the cat shies away for a few moments before coming over to sniff my outstretched hand. Her friendliness is both lucky and heartbreaking. She trusted humans and looked at what they did. Do you think we can get her to come with us? He asks softly, and I nod. I don't know how she'll handle us trying to do anything to her babies, but we can try. The corners of my jaw hurt as I let the kitty walk around me, sniffing me. She is purring like a motor. In fact, she seems almost frantic to get our attention. Is this normal for strays you pick up? He asks, his low voice full of fascination. She's practically climbing up his pant leg in her quest for warmth and a good petting. Sometimes. Her owner probably dumped her when she turned up pregnant, and she's done the best she could out here ever since. There's a lump in my throat that won't go away as I turn back toward the truck. The cat panics as I straighten and runs up to me, meowing loudly. It's okay, Mama, I'm not going far. But she won't have it. She snags a claw in my pant leg and then jumps down and runs toward the barrels. Now what? I mutter, and Jake joins me in following her. Oh yeah, she's definitely on board with being rescued, Jake drawls as the cat leaps up into one of the barrels, which holds a thin little nest of rags and newspapers. The desperate mewing inside tells me that she's at least managed to keep her babies alive through the first freezes. His shoulders block my view into the barrel, and I have to resist a sudden urge to jump onto his broad back for a closer look. Hey big guy, I can't see through you. I'll count 'em. Hand me your flashlight. He reaches back, and I press it into his huge gloved hand. I wait, trying to ignore how his butt looks up close in his tight jeans and failing in the worst way. He's half bent into the barrel with the queen cat meowing at him nervously, but she doesn't hiss, and I stare at the way the denim molds to his muscular legs. Damn. I need to focus on what I'm doing here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 kitties. They were a little bit skinny and shivery, but they were all still alive. You got a carrier big enough for all of them? I smile. Yeah, I brought the big ones along with the other stuff. Do you think we can get the mama cat to cooperate? He half straightens and looks over his shoulder at me, eyes dancing. Are you kidding me? He replies with a smirk as Mama Cat hops out of the barrel with a kitten by the scruff and starts carrying her over to my truck. It's a lucky find, a healthy, docile first litter, even if a little chilled and hungry. None of them particularly like the kennel I bring, as it smells faintly of dog. But once they feel the warm air from the heating pad I slipped in there, Mama starts hauling her kittens into their temporary new digs by the scruff. We watch until everyone's settled, and I sigh, noticing dried blood on some of the bedding. It's a wonder that she didn't draw predators. Maybe the rust and chemical stink of the drums masked the birthing scent. Whatever the case, I barely have time for the chill to start sinking through my gloves before we're strapping the crate into my passenger seat. Mama Cat apparently knows what a car ride is, because she's already yowling in irritation. The kittens start mewing, and I giggle a little as I make sure they're secure. So, where do you need me? Jake drawls from behind me. I feel his eyes on me and blink. He's not checking me out, is he? But no, of course not. That's a silly idea. I should tell him to get back to searching. The weather's going to drop below freezing again tonight, and the threatening rain could turn to snow in a day or two. We can't really spare any time. Well, I need to get the babies here settled in one of the isolation rooms and get them and Mama fed and watered. After that, I'll be ready to go out and gather more. But I hesitate. I don't really need his help handling this litter. But if you feel like helping me settle them in, you're welcome. I'll grab some thermoses of coffee for the boys while we're at it. Warmth creeps up my cheeks even as I say it. I'm being selfish and silly, but I want him with me. He answers almost too quickly. Sounds good. And a few thermoses of rocket juice sound good too. I fight back the urge to beam at him like an idiot. Yeah. Hopefully, all the relocations go this smoothly.
End of sneak peek for The Biker's Girl by Michelle Love and Lily Diamond. Thank you for listening to this preview of The Biker's Girl, a bad boy romance audiobook. Please like and subscribe to support this channel. It helps more than you know.